my average is about 5, yeah, and your one's about 10.
We are leaving the ads.
We are leaving the ad times. Why the fuck is Rue so large? What the hell?
She looks fine to me. Oh,
Rue.
wait. Maybe you're right.
Rue, you're a giant now.
I mean, she is an elf, so...
Let me
Half elf.
shrink you down a little bit.
I mean, my point still stands.
There you go. You get to be short now. How do you feel about those?
Oh, that's fine.
Nice. Embrace the short people. We are all short here. Let me just... There we go. I think... Are you the shortest of the group? In
Sweats at 6'0".
3 foot... I'm 5'3".
I was gonna say.
I was like 5'4". I think 5'5". I think I'm like average human standards, but it's like, oh, she's an alpha. Well, I'm kind of small.
Fucking
Yeah,
3
Nia's also
foot
5'5". Gremlin hours.
That'd be gremlin. Yeah, sure, gremlin. Gremlin hours. Okay, let me do my intro real quick, ladies and gentlemen. Hello and welcome, dear spirits, to the Tables of Tatras, a chapter of Purgatory Corner. Today I am your storyteller, Sinspeaks, and we're joined here by my friends Ania, Cyril, Galmar, Rue, and Sapphire, and we're going to be continuing the tale of Tyrant's Wrath. Come on in, take a seat, and let your imagination run free. If you guys have not seen the players that we have today, including Ania, who is played by Storyestry, and Dakota, who is played by Colty, feel free to go check them out there. Colty is not with us today because she is doing some IRL stuff and dealing with a few issues like that. So we're basically just gonna pass on by her stuff for now. Anyone want to do a quick recap, or should I do it?
No, I don't have anything written down.
Alright. So essentially what happened last episode, to the best of my knowledge, which let me just look at your notes real quick to refresh myself. I've looked at it 5 times now, but I'm like, gotta refresh myself again. You guys went to town, the town of Stillmere. Ania kind of went over to the pond area thing, the fountain in the center of town, kind of their main water source, to kind of see whether or not the poison has been eliminated or moved or, you know, whatever it was. And she figured out that, you know, there was some lingering poison areas that had been quite dispersed by the water. Some form of poison created probably from the Yonti's venom, to the best that she can tell. And then she kind of shoved a bunch of it into little sample containers, possibly to use on a weapon for Cyril or for an antidote in case someone gets infected by it or anything like that. Galmar went to the group of people in the town who was talking, but there was a child, Fionn, I believe, who ran up to him, and both due to his low perception, but also due to how the child was, immediately stabbed him in the gut as she ran into him, and it turns out that her mother had been killed during the whole debacle. And she had been very depressed by it, more or less. Her father was the mayor of the town, and he apologized profusely for, you know, the gut wound. But more or less, they just kind of took the child back. Ania kind of apologized for it and gave them 6 gold pieces to kind of help them continue on with their lives, come back to everything that they've been missing out for a little while now. Then you guys moved out of the town and moved into Gremley's shop, more or less trying to find a teleportation item. Galmar also wanted to know what metal his research were made of. Sapphire wanted to know who Solstice was. Ania wanted a book on the vampire lords, and, you know, a bunch of different things you guys wanted. To pay for all this, Galmar gave up the faces and identities of the people who put him in the restraints. He still feels the same emotions towards those individuals as he did previously, but he doesn't know who they are anymore. Cyril did a
No.
very similar thing with a tattered banner that belonged to his old company. He still remembers his old company as well as the people in the company, but anything specifically related to that banner, he now feels dull or neutral about for the most part, for better or for worse. And Nia gave up one for wild shapes in the future, the catch being that she'll lose it when she feels the need to use it. So whatever is the most important thing for her to use at that exact moment during an important section, she will lose it at that point in time indefinitely. However, because it is more than what the book and everything cost, she more or less has a tab that Grimly has, more or less allowing her to just kind of pick something in the future that she wants within reason. The metal of Galmar's restraints is adamantine, something that the dwarves know about. It's a particularly strong metal, one of the strongest, but it's also one of the rarest metals in the world. The teleportation device that they got is a more or less stone tablet rune that allows you to teleport to damn near anywhere you wish, effectively a 7th level teleport, relatively safely and relatively in the area. She didn't really give too much specifics on it, but especially with items like this, there's always some kind of catch. And she very much so specified heavily and without any debate, do not use it more than twice, or it may or may not rip your entire body apart at the seams. It is very good to use to kill somebody, that's for sure. And Sapphire is currently holding on to it since she is the sneakiest one of the party. Solstice is a possible friend of Sapphire's, who's also said to have been a god-made mortal, more or less, specifically a sun god in the Feywild. And they are possibly looking for her, but no one knows exactly where they are. They could be on the mortal plane, they could be in the Feywild, they could be in the Shadowfell. No one is quite sure. Now, of course, I will kind of allow you guys to I suppose, ruminate or interact and stuff like that. And yeah, so Rue, since you weren't here last time, kind of retroactively going back to when Gelmar was stabbed in the gut, more or less, and they had kind of stated a lot of things like the mother had died from the fiery explosion. Specifically, she had been the corpse, the smoldering corpse that you guys found when you guys looked into the building. At least you assume she was. There was no real way to identify it since it was more or less just charcoal. But you assume it was. And yeah, so the kid's in the mayor's arms. He's apologizing profusely. Ania's given like 6 gold coins. Is there anything that you would do specifically in this situation?
Yes.
Hmm?
She looks at the child just being cradled in the father's arms, and terrible, horrible knot of just pain inside of her chest, knowing that she had been the one to do that. Maybe it was in the battle, maybe there was like a whole good explanation for it, but it still happened, and she killed somebody. Looking at the father and child, her
Mhm.
eyes do kind of cast off to the side, feeling the shame and the guilt, rightfully so, that she feels.
Mhm.
And she'll speak up to them. I'm so sorry. I was the ones that did that fireball.
The you can see Like the kid's obviously crying on his shoulder, so the kid can't quite hear you. Or if they do hear you, they aren't really processing it to a degree. It happens after you stab somebody, especially at that young of age. But you can see kind of a look cross the man's face. You aren't quite sure what the look is necessarily, but it looks like a conflicting amount of looks, or it's like a bunch of emotions kind of crossing through his face. And he's kind of gripping the 6 gold pieces and like holding the kid, trying to calm her down and stuff like that. And he kind of looks at you as you say that, and he's like, "Yeah. It will be a really hard time to rebuild, but difficulties arise in every situation. And you all did save the town."
As her eyes furrow, and still, when he says difficulties, it's just more shame and guilt. He says it feeling like he's trying to say it lightly.
If I wish to seek someone to blame, it is not you.
He's still
Without
stolen.
your group, we would all be dead. But is a hard thing to process.
I feel so horrible for taking something that was so precious to you. Someone that is so important.
If you
I wish I
didn't
could
feel
do
bad,
more.
I would assume you're a sociopath. Feeling bad about something like this is what makes us, for lack of a better term, human. Things happen. It's not good. And we'll hold a funeral for her in a couple of days along with the others who have fallen, but
Is there any... Maybe I could help with anything?
no. The kid needs time to process, as we all do. You being there would just complicate things.
Nia will step forward and just sort of touch like Rue's upper arm. Not like hold it, but just touch it.
Mm-hmm.
Conflicted feeling and look crosses Rue's eye at being holstered up at this moment when she knows it's her fault. But she doesn't. Okay, I understand.
For now, it would be
She'll...
best for your group to leave.
Rue nods quietly and she'll walk away.
Okay. Does anyone talk to Rue? Specifically last episode as well, I had mentioned that you, Rue, had been, while they were
Right.
at the pool before this moment, had been like kind of fiddling with your hand, the same hand that you broke in your dream that is still somewhat bruised at the moment, not fully damaged, but you were fiddling with it.
Mhm.
Kind of just
As
like
she walks back,
fiddling with it.
as she's
Mhm.
walking by herself, she'll also take up that same hand and just press it.
So if you guys would like to make an insight check onto Rue at this moment, you are more than welcome to, the results of which I will let Rue define upon. But essentially, you're all moving away from this area for now. Hey, Ania's check popped up.
Hey, good job, Gilmar.
Yeah. to do. Okay, so yeah, y'all kind of walking away from this area. Rue is kind of ahead of you. She kind of walked away more or less first as soon as he said like, "Best for you all to leave." Um, okay, so yeah, you guys all like half of you guys got above 18, half of you guys got below 15. So Rue, what would you say you're showing to the party? I suppose. What can they infer from you at the moment?
Mhm. Besides the obvious.
Yeah, so like
Yes.
for an above an 18 and for below a 15. I assume like below the 15 they would at least still be noticing the hand.
Yeah. Yeah, they'd be noticing kind of you're filling with the hand. I would say possibly as a not quite a nervous tick, but just like something that's occupying your hands. What that might mean to them is up to them, of course. But for the folks who got above 18, which would be Galmar and Sapphire, uh, they're seeing a little bit deeper into you. Obviously they're looking at you from the back, so they can't quite tell, your facial expressions or anything like that. But like, how hard are you pressing into your hands? What's are you doing it as like a pressure thing, or is it like you're not able to kind of control how hard you're pushing into it, or stuff like that? What was your character kind of showing at the moment?
As she's walking, pressing her hand, it's something that hasn't. It looks like it's not ingrained for those who were looking into it closely.
Mhm.
It wasn't something ingrained, that this is something that had just begun, and a new consciousness, new thought, for good or bad, that has started within her. And walking back from that event always seems like she had come to a conclusion of herself and her actions, and is realizing that maybe there should be more done to herself, I suppose.
Interesting. So yeah, Sapphire and
Hold up.
Galmar, you both kind
Done
of
to herself.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The two of you
I'm
both
very learned.
kind of get that feeling from her, where it's like she is very actively doing this, kind of pushing into her hand, kind of like it's not a super soft motion like you see like Ania, for example, rubbing her staff every now and again, or Cyril has these physical ticks that he does every now and again, rubbing his chest, for example. But for her, this is like it's definitely a very sharper motion, I would say.
Yeah, if you were looking closely, you might see that when she had pressed it, there might be a sudden flinch of like nerves, maybe inflicted pain
Mhm.
or something. But she keeps walking. She'll be more or less to herself.
Do you guys want to say anything to her, or do you just want to keep in mind and wait for the future?
I think I come over to her,
Mhm.
sort of squat down to eye level and looking down at her hand.
She looks
Is
adverse.
may I? Is everything okay?
Mm, she thinks lightly to herself, but looks like she doesn't know what to say. Thoughts a little jumbled. I'm not too sure.
Your
Sorry,
hand We must not have. We must not have checked everyone well enough after the battle. Is it okay? It looks like it hurts.
Hmm. A little bit. Oh, sorry, she was thinking. I was back into it. Sorry, I'm
Is it-
just thinking about the child, the father. Don't really feel too good right now, but
I see. This would be the first time this has happened for you.
yes. It doesn't feel really good.
No,
Mm.
no, it doesn't. And
Maybe we can just leave it then. I'll heal it later. But thank you. She'll say with somewhat strengthener. We're trying.
if you need to talk,
Thank you. She'll move on.
Cool. Okay. And then you guys would
Yeah.
have eventually ended up at Grimley's. Is there anything particular that you would want to ask her, Rue? Anything that you were interested in character-wise?
The doodads.
The
With a
doodads.
steep price.
the doodads.
The thingamabobs and
We
the
can never have enough
thingadoodles.
doodads.
I know. Thinking of only like were they kind of getting to the armor and stuff
Mhm.
later on. I don't know.
Mhm.
She's quite simple. I can't think of anything that she lets right now.
Okay.
She'll probably just be looking around, but then later on, I'll decide.
Cool. Yeah, looking around, you see more or less the same site that you saw last time. A bunch of different mishmash of items, various different armor pieces, old school stuff, new stuff, kind of weird looking weapons and potions and all kinds of oddities and strangeness. Some of which you recognize to some degree, and others are complete mystery. But yeah, if there's nothing that you're particularly interested in that case, we will move onwards. And you guys come out of Grimley's shop. I believe Cyril got a message after you guys got out of the shop. I don't recall what it said exactly, but more or less, actually, did you write down, Ania? I think you did.
What? Write down what?
What was said
The message
to
from
Cyril.
the
Oh yeah, I wrote it down exactly.
Oh, okay. Directives have changed. Danger in the tree. No report from councilmen. Get to tree as soon as possible. They could die. So that kind of gave you guys a secondary area to go to. I will say, as Cyril gets this message, couple things will happen at the same time.
Cyril? You said it as Cyril gets this message?
Oh, sorry, as Ania gets this message. I forgot it was Ania. I still see Cyril as the primary face. I'm like, somebody's sending a message to someone. Well, Nia fucking hates the messaging system.
I hate the messages.
But yeah, Ania gets the message. And as Ania gets that message, a couple things do happen at nearly the same time. One, Dakota appears to get something in their head. They flinch hard. They like literally legitimately flinch to the side and their hand immediately goes to their belt. Something went through their head, it looks like, though you guys are not sure what. I will, of course, send that message to Colty in the future, but for now, we're just gonna kind of pass by it. And the second thing that happens at this point in time is that Gelmar, you get a message too.
Oh my gosh, are you messaging all of us at the same time?
So the message that you get is very specific. It is, Gelmar, I'm hearing singing flowing through the stone around me, like your forging friends. Something's happening to me. It hurts. Please hurry. And that is from your sister. At least using her voice.
Oh god.
And as this is happening, you guys step out of the area. You guys step out of Grimley's shop. All this stuff is happening. Cyril, I assume you are on quite high alert at the moment, with everyone just kind of like flinching to the side almost immediately. You would be looking around, trying to make sure obviously no one's attacking. And the first thing that I would say that you see is that you see this, we'll go with probably a half-elf. Human half-elf. And they're standing at the tree line, more or less. Kind of, they're obviously looking at your party. They have a couple items with them. They look like you would assume a merchant would look like if they have to travel routinely. And they're currently just kind of watching your party as you guys all stepping out and fucking flinching to the side. You know, it's like you guys having an impromptu rave dance.
How
So,
close is
Hmm?
How close is this half elf?
A tree line from the building, probably 40, 50 feet.
Teleports behind you.
And to the
That's-
best of your knowledge, based on your history, it does look like a generalized merchant who is currently scouting your party to see whether or not they're able to sell stuff to you, or if you would kill them. You've seen a couple of people do this in the past.
Okay, so this doesn't look like somebody casting spells or anything.
No, this looks like a merchant who is very curious on what the fuck is going on with your party.
We just call out, hello.
The merchant kind of looks surprised and he's like, hello there. Travelers? I saw what you did with the town. Impressive work. You in need of supplies.
Not entirely sure.
What do you deal in?
Oh, I deal in quite a few things. I deal in potions of many different sorts. I have an iron skin potion to make it so you resist a few more damages, and seems to be useful for someone of your stature. I have a swiftness potion that will allow you to temporarily be a little bit faster, which might be useful for the smaller ones. I deal in food. I have all kinds of goodies from the Gagar Wastes and the Sahagan Marshlands. I have quite a few things.
I would like to insight check the fact he has food from 2 continents away.
Oh, I was gonna insight check if he
Especially
was
considering
harmful
one of
to
them
us
is
or
well
not.
known to be the Orklands.
You are
What
more than
rule?
welcome to roll insight.
Let's do it.
I'm going for just a general like insight check here.
Okay. Jesus. All right.
Gelmar suspects nothing.
Sapphire got a 20.
Nice. So Rue, you kind of he seems like a general nice, gentleman and stuff like that. Just a general guy trying to get their way across the world. The rest of you guys, it is odd that someone would have food from Gaga Waste in the Zara Marshlands, but not as odd as you would think. Both of those places specialize in dried meat, specifically in effectively what would be jerky. The Zara Marshlands, a little bit less so. They usually do a variety of different cooking styles, but since they are in a marshlands, they specialize in making their shit last as long as possible. Not usually very good tasting, but it will last until the day is dead. So it's very likely he probably has some kind of dried meat on him or some kind of long-lasting food or ingredients or something of that sort.
Has been a while since we stocked up, although we aren't like tracking that too much.
Mm-hmm. He doesn't seem like he's in any way combative. He has no weapons on him, like at all, which is a little bit weird for a merchant, but at the same time, most people don't attack merchants unless they're bandits and stuff, and any good merchant worth their salt knows not to stay on the main roads. Probably why also he's in the woods at the moment. So for the most part, he seems to be ticking like every box of like merchant. But the weird thing is he's ticking every merchant box.
Does he have like a cart?
He has what looks to be a oversized backpack on him. He's about probably 5'10". He's built reasonably strong, but he doesn't seem to be carrying anything behind him, which, considering he's in the woods, probably is for the best, as most carts' wheels can get stuck and stuff like that. But it's kind of odd that he's carrying like a backpack to keep everything. Most people walk a little bit lighter when they go from place to place. But especially if he's come from the Zara Marshlands and the Gagar Wastes, he probably goes very, very long treks.
Ania's going to approach. And as she approaches, she's gonna be like, "Do you have any potion recipes?"
Potion recipes. Ooh, that's a hard one. I know that some of the druids over in the marshlands kind of work on different recipes types, but let me take a look, little lady. He like pulls off his backpack, he like opens up and he starts like digging through it a little bit. He's like, not that, no, that's a that's a weird scroll. Not that one. Ooh, I haven't found this book in ages. Nice. And he pulls out like one almost like a scroll, kind of. And he's like, here we are. This is the potion for more or less my iron skin potion. He like pulls out, and it's a you would not call it a liquid. Is a sludge. More like a syrup like consistency. It's not pleasant look to it. And he's like, this will make it so that for a very short period of time, pretty much all attacks that hit you kind of have a much harder time to hit you, so to speak. It's a lot harder to get through your skin with this, but it's a very dull version, unfortunately. I don't have a pristine one. I sometimes make these potions, or I trade for them, so they're not the best quality. But this one will do you some good for a short period of time, and this is the recipe for it as well. Some of the stuff's a little bit harder to get than others, but yeah, you seem like a well-seasoned traveler, so I assume you know where to find a lot of ingredients.
How much? Gilmore asked, staring quizzically.
Well, these are quite hard to come by, considering it is a potion recipe and a potion itself. So, for the recipe itself, I would say maybe 15 gold. And for the potion, maybe, 2 gold.
I'll gladly take the potion, and he says before turning towards Ania. What about the recipe? Interested?
While the
Mia's-
two of them are talking,
Mhm.
Mhm.
I'm going to. Trying to figure out if I should use detect magic or divine sense on this guy.
What you gonna say, Neil?
Ania's squinting and is like, "Why are you so willing to sell the recipe?"
That's simple. I have no use for it. And 15 gold is a reasonable price for it. And if somebody wants to pay 15 gold for a recipe, it is their wish to do whatever they wish to do it with. I can, of course, go and get it copied over at the Star Shadow Kingdom inside their library, but that's usually paid me less, but it gives me, other rights, and it's a whole deal I don't really want to deal with, and Star Shadow Kingdom is not quite on my way, so it's just a little bit easier to get paid up front, especially considering the difficulties of this area.
Okay, and she'll look to Gilmar. She's like, "Well, I am interested. It'll be a little bit hard to get the ingredients around here."
I have the funds, he says, for both.
May I see the recipe first?
Of course,
just
and
ho-
he hands you the thing.
Ania's shocked he's just handing it over, but she like warily accepts it because she
I was
was
gonna
about
s-
to be like, "Yeah, you could just show it to her. Like, you could hold the recipe and just let her read it." And she's shocked.
As you grab the recipe, like he gives it to you freely, but the potion, like he's holding behind his hand so that it would be nearly impossible to get both at the same time. So it seems to
Gilmer's
have some experience.
just gonna hold
with
out the
this.
2 gold to him.
And he hands you the thing, he grabs the gold and he replaces it with the potion. It's one smooth transition that he does all of this in. He's clearly experienced in doing this.
Thank you. Pleasure doing business.
I'm gonna use divine sense on this one.
Okay. Let me just remember what that does. Action, you can detect celestial, fiend, or undead. He is none of those three.
None of those three.
I'd
And-
like to.
Hmm?
Oh, good.
Yeah, as you like grab the recipe, I assume read it. It is pretty much the same style of recipe that you're kind of used to. It's in the same format as most recipes are listed in. The you recognize a few of the potion ingredients as, forest style. Usually that's a good base for most potions. But some of them are native to Ironspire Peaks, specifically some of the main functions of this potion because of its almost like slime kind of consistency, the syrup stuff. It's very slow moving plants that have like really slow moving tar inside of them in order to withstand the frigid temperatures of the Ironspire Peaks. So you do recognize a few of the ingredients on there, and they are somewhat hard to come by.
Okay, would I be able to like run investigation to like figure out how legit this is?
Absolutely.
Cool. Nice.
Nice. You, to the best of your knowledge, because you've been around potion crafters a lot, you've been around alchemists a lot. To the best of your knowledge, this is a legit potion recipe. It's done in the same format as most potion recipes. It has the appropriate names of most plants, which most people just put in like shorthand if it's like a false paper or something like that. But usually, like alchemists especially, really want it to be exact. So it has like the exact names and stuff like that. And it's just a general look to it that just kind of screams out, this is normal.
All right, Ania's gonna say something, but does anyone else want to say something first? Or do anything?
Oh no.
No.
So Ania's gonna lower it slightly and like squint over it at him. Like, why are you giving off such just suspicious vibes?
I'm a
And just
merchant.
you're gonna bluntly ask.
If I didn't come off as suspicious, 9 times out of 10, people think I'm going to rob them, I'm going to stab them, or I'm going to be very, very weird and creepy. If I come off as a suspicious merchant, 9 times out of 10, they talk to me to see whether or not I'm actually suspicious, and I get more deals. Because then they don't think I'm here to stab them.
It's a marketing ploy. Oh, what's your name?
My name is Jonathan Jolene. I know, weird last name, but I was named weirdly. My whole family is all JJs, or JoJos, I guess.
Is that true? Can I answer? His
Yes,
name?
I have, it's,
The JoJo merchant line.
you can
I
tell
believe
he's
I-
very truthful.
He's
What
being
upon
truthful
this
about
day
his
we have
name.
discovered Rue is the
Okay.
best a censor of BS.
He's just like, yes, I have, that thing of Joe names. I have Joe Johnson. He's my father-in-law. I have, Jonathan, Jason. He doesn't quite follow the JoJo theme, but he does do the JJ theme, and he's my grandfather. My nephew twice removed is Jonathan Joestar, but we don't talk about him very often.
Okay, I'm not letting you bypass that one.
And he
Was
will.
me.
It was me. And he will nod to Galbar. He's like, yeah, I like the recipe from the suspicious JoJo merchant.
So, that's fair enough. He has holding out the 15 gold. Hold to him again.
I
Or 15 gold
appreciate
for the
your
recipe.
business, and he quickly grabs it and puts it into a coin pouch. And then he drops the coin pouch into his backpack, and you can tell it sinks in there pretty deep. But I'm glad to do business with you all. You seem like, he kind of looks at Cyril. Competent
Two
adventurers.
glowing eyes are staring at him.
A very, well-traveled people, yes. Say, you guys say this town, right? At least from what I can tell. They didn't seem too kind to you at the end there, but yeah, it looked like you were for the most part heroes of the town. So how would you feel doing me a job, shall we say?
What sort of job?
Well, we have well, I work with a group. They're a little ways down the road. Mostly it's a caravan of sorts that we kind of travel around and try and make do with what we got. And we heard recently that a few towns over, there is a small settlement of sorts. Not quite a normal settlement, but I suppose you would call it a storage area of sorts. And down there, we've heard tales that there's a lot of resources over there, a lot of ingredients and things we can sell. And we've heard that there's a history of what is it? It's a really rare a drug. I can't remember what its name is off the top of my head, but
Ania looks at Cyril.
they said that it's there's like an operation down there, so we want to investigate it and well, honestly, kind of pillage it to some degree. Maybe not the drug, but the rest of the stuff in there we want to pillage, because it seems like they're not doing it under regular tenses. So more we can get and less they can get, probably for the better. You know what I mean? So I was curious on if adventurers like you would be willing to help a fellow out.
Cyril is. I am striding over.
I lean over to Gelmar. I say, did he just want help raiding somebody's village or settlement?
About the game, I didn't quite catch all of it.
Essentially,
Cool.
he's asking if you guys can help him go and possibly pillage a storage area by people who assumedly are creating a drug.
We. You said we a lot.
Indeed, as I said, I have a caravan just down the road.
And who is this other group? Do you know who they're owned by?
Not in the slightest. We hear
I have
rumors and
heard.
tales of things, so we're going to check it out later today. But then, I heard the commotion over here, and then the entire world went dark inside of this weird bubble, and it was kind of spooky and confusing. And then, I heard explosions, and I got to see a little bit at the end. And honestly, I don't exactly know what happened, but something happened. So I figured you guys were very competent and could help us persuade these individuals to stop their drug creating existences.
We've heard this area is under some watch by Bandit King Roderick. There's no chance that that's one of his, is it?
Oh, very unlikely. To the best of my knowledge, the Bandit King fucking despises drug trade because it makes it so that his people are less competent. And there's one thing that everyone knows about King Roderick. It's that if you're incompetent, he really, really doesn't like you.
And
It's a very
Nia
common
looks
theme.
to Cyril again and just sort of defers to him.
Where is it? He's just like he's just staring down at him now.
Oh, it's about a day south. Not too far. At least from the information we've gathered. As I said, we're just gonna go down and check out and scout out and kind of see what we're up to, what up against. You seem interested.
Very. You by yourself. Do you know how to get there?
Yes.
Good. You're coming with me. And he just sort of like grabs him and lead me there.
Whoa,
Picks
whoa,
him up
whoa,
like
whoa.
a cat.
He's like, whoa, I got folks to report back to, they're probably
No offense, I don't trust.
I mean, you could come with me.
I don't trust your friend. You're going to lead us there without your friends. Just you. That way, if this is a trap, I can kill you myself.
Say, want to talk him down?
Ania does not say anything.
Cyril, we've already got several other tasks on our plate as it is. Should we not think about this a bit longer? Especially before we do drastic actions. Remember what happened last time something like that happened?
Which time?
Well, there was a fireball on the roof.
She winces.
Ania glares at Gelmar, like, full on. It's like, that's not the same. Why would you do that?
Okay, in that case...
I have spent decades dealing with whatever this is. If it is what I think it is, and I can deal the same blow I dealt at the windmill, I will do so. With or without you all. You have the tablet. And he just starts like steering the merchant. South, you said, correct?
Yes, a day south. And he kind of looks at the group with like a help me go.
About how much lantern oil would you say you carry in there?
Probably enough for a couple hours.
We will have to make that work.
Are you guys following him?
I mean,
yeah, and he's
I'm not letting him go alone.
and he's gonna walk up alongside the merchant. Sapphire, did you want to say something?
I was just gonna say, if he's not willing to cooperate, I have rope.
He's gonna walk up to the merchant.
My
He's
God.
like, "Don't worry. As long as you're not lying, Cyril will probably even pay you generously."
We were actually planning on paying you, but
Oh, good. When we get back to your caravan, you can pay us.
I mean, what have I gotten myself into? The Cho family curse is coming for me.
In the back,
If it's all the same to you, sir, I don't know what you've gotten yourself into either.
in the back, Rue is going to try to communicate with, what is it? Grimley's shop? See if she can try and go back into that.
Yeah, the gateway is still somewhat open.
Yeah. After kind of talking with the merchant, an idea kind of started out.
Mhm.
So watching them kind of walk away, she'll just go back into Grimley's shop.
Can I insight to catch her doing that?
Or
perception.
Perception.
Darn it!
You do not. The
Special eyes.
the special eyes.
Too focused.
The merchant is taking a lot of your brain power at the moment. But yeah, so you walk in back into Grimley's shop where everyone's kind of slowly moving to the south. And you see like Grimley kind of pop up in front of you. It's like, "Hello there, dear. How may I help you?" And you, "Oh, your party's not here. How interesting."
No, it is just me. Definitely not as happy as she was last time she was there.
"How can I help you, darling?"
I was wondering if you had a vial that could bring someone back to life.
Ooh, bringing folks from death to life, to give their soul a new home to stand upon. It depends, my dear. Do you want one that will revive them if their heart and brain are still intact? Or would you like one that will bring them back regardless of how many pieces their body may be in? One is much more expensive than the other.
The last one, please.
The last one. Ooh, you are driving a hard bargain, my dear. In order to get that, it is a very pricey spell. It is something that even some of the top spellcasters have difficulty achieving. What will you be willing to offer?
I feel like these mistakes that I've made is because of my choices. The things that I was so happy about. If I could give up just that stupid idea that I had of the joy of casting Fireball. Just that thing that maybe even not wanting to use it.
Ooh. You wish to give up your emotional connection to one of your favorite spells. Ooh, intriguing.
Well, the joy of it, for sure.
The joy. Let's see, my dear. There are a few, shall we say, difficulties associated with this. So, when folks have a joy with a spell, as she like snaps her fingers and you see like a tiny flame appear, they get a rush of adrenaline and interest in the spell as it flickers and flames around. Everyone loves their spells, that's why they pick them and why they use them. If you remove the love, all that's there is the spell. And whether or not you use it is entirely dependent on the situation, instead of whether or not it's best to use it. As such, I can take away your joy to use your precious fireball, but you will never know whether to use it in a situation or not. The fireball is simply a tool in your toolbox, and you'll never really understand how exciting it is to use it again. Or if you should. It is a hard
thinks
deal
that-
to make, my dear.
As she listens, she thinks back to the times when she had casted that and the impact of it. It was just stable. It was something that she could just do. And it was powerful too. It worked. But seeing that kid in her father's arms, because of what she did, and knowing that she had felt so happy just to have done all that until that moment, I can't do it anymore. I think it would be best. Give it up.
Fabulous. All right, dear, then that is a deal. She snaps her fingers, and in her hands is a jar with what appears to be a living flame within it. It bounces around, it slams into the edges of the jar, which does nothing to the jar, but it's fascinating to watch it flicker and flame. And you can feel the happy emotions related to your fireball, the excitement, the joy that came from every time you used it, for good or for ill, the excitement that popped up whenever you would quite literally cause the heavens themselves to explode in holy fire, just kind of dulls. It sinks. It becomes it just becomes a very gentle feeling. A gentle ripple on the sea. And when you think about it, and you think about the situations you've used Fireball, the joy is gone from it. And you just think about, should you have used it? Or maybe Lightning Bolt was better, or this one was better. It is no longer a, I did Fireball. It's a, do I use it? Is there a point to it? Kind of a feeling that you now associate with the spell Fireball. Mechanically, you are still able to use Fireball, but in every situation, you will have to roll a either intelligence or wisdom save in order to be able to convince yourself that it is useful in that moment to use, essentially. Which I'll write down at some point. But with her other hand, she snaps her fingers, and you see a small vial appear in front of you, and she kind of hands it to you. It's almost an inky black darkness that she hands to you, almost like a liquefied persona of darkness itself, as she hands it to you. And she goes, "Now, my dear, this will be a fine addition to my collection. That right there is impossible to break. There is nothing in your plane of reality, my dear, that will be able to break that item. If your companion or whoever you wish to see dies, you are able to revive them without exception, regardless of if they wish to die or not, no matter if their body is in one piece or a million. If you wish to save that person and you drippity-droppity that onto them, or anywhere really, their body will come back to its peak condition directly before they died. And they will be back. Their soul will be back into their body. Their minds will be back to how they were. They will remember dying. But they will be back. Fully healthy, fully compatible, and fully alive, with their regular lifespan left in front of them, for them to die again in 50, 60, 70 some years, depending on when you revive them. Have fun with the choice of when to use it, my dear."
Thank you. Does this have to be used exactly afterwards that they die?
You
Do I
can
have
use
some
it
time?
whenever you wish after they die to revive them back to where they may or may not wish to be. However, I will say, the longer you leave them dead, the more shall we say, difficult their revival may be. When you pull them from the land beyond to their mortal bodies once again, you are, quite literally, pulling them out of wherever they may be, a good place or a bad place. You are ripping them out of there and shoving them back into their mortal frame. Some may appreciate this far more than others, and the longer you let this be, the more difficult it gets for them when they come back. I do
Thank you very much.
suggest you only wait a couple of minutes to bring them back, but you could in fact bring back someone years and years after. But that's up to you.
This'll be. Thank you very much, Grimly.
No worries. Feel free to come back anytime. I'm happy to all degrees to play with you and thine.
She'll take the vial, breathe in and out. This'll help a little bit, but maybe next time I won't. It won't end up like that. Thank you again. She'll head on out.
As you step on out, the outside kind of changes. Instead of you being pretty much right outside of the town, you actually pop out of a tree just a little bit behind the party as they're walking down the road.
Sneaky.
And she'll put away the vial. Just this sense of more hopeful after the things that she's done. Lifting herself up and moving forward.
The guy that you are transporting, the merchant, he kind of looks at the group as you know he's being more or less walked over there, and he's like, well, so do you want like information about the area? I mean, I've gained a little bit of it. My party probably could have told you more. You know, we could just walk towards them and then bring them with us, you know?
Above game.
Mhm.
Just so that everybody's like on the same page about where I'm going with this. Just the faintest idea that it's some sort of drug that's been manufactured. This is an obsession for Cyril, and it is single-minded. The idea to veer off and go to the rest of the caravan is going to have to be
Really compelling.
it's going to have to be he's going to have to be convinced, and not by the merchant that he is currently steering.
I think all the help we can get would be grand. Don't you agree, Cyril?
Well, how big is the this place we're going to? How many people are there? Do you know?
From what we've gathered, information-wise, a small town, I would say. So it's a storage area for the most part, but it's also like a production area. So it's like kind of mixed between those. We've heard various tales and tells from a couple of birdies on the wind, but usually it's some kind of mixture of those two.
And is the drug trade specifically this whole place, or is it just part of it and the settlement does not know?
I believe that there's no one there who isn't associated with the whole area. It's not like a proper town of sorts, I would say. To the best of the knowledge that I've gathered so far with my crew, it's an area that they have set up specifically to manufacture. So it's kind of like being able to easily move it. We've been kind of tracking a similar one for a couple of weeks now. But that's the first time we got any like concrete information about it. Usually, it's smaller drug trades and stuff, and they usually have all kinds of items like potions and stuff that we can pillage and steal. I mean, they aren't using it very well, and honestly, if we get the sheriff to do fucking anything, it'd be easier to do. But most towns around here don't want to start up a fight, and you can't really get to Roderick, can we? It's kind of a difficult thing with him being all busy and all that and blah blah blah. He kind of like exaggerates that, but yeah. And he's like, but so we kind of make do, we sneak in there, we grab a few things, we walk out, I've gotten a couple random stuffs from it. And that potion actually is from the last time we found a one of these little storage areas.
How many people are
Wait.
part of your caravan? Oh, Sapphire, you go first.
I was gonna ask, does your crew know exactly how many people are in that town? That would
Nope.
be crucial information.
We're gonna go and investigate it and kind of scout out the area, but then found you.
How many people are part of your caravan?
Only like 6 or 7 or so.
Well, inside that?
You're more than welcome to. From the sounds of it, he probably is around 6 or 7.
Yeah, and Nia's not bothering to insight. She will look to Cyril and be like, that does almost double our numbers. It does double our
Sapphire's-
numbers.
Sapphire's also gonna help with that, but roll persuasion on him.
Trying to persuade
You know what? I am gonna let a persuasion roll decide this.
Hell yeah.
Can I help Sapphire?
Yeah. Roll with the persuasion with advantage, Sapphire.
Okay, so that's
ADV,
dot
I
ADV
believe.
or-
Yeah, dot ADV. Ooh, a 13. That's up to Cyril on how well that does.
I'm totally fine if it does.
Mm-hmm.
Can any of them fight?
We're more or less just like thieves in the night and sneaky sneakies, and we can create great distraction though. We got a lot of gunpowder. That's always fun.
Wait, are you aware of
Oh.
the black market?
But it kind of depends on what your definition of black market is. We kind of sell and buy to whoever is around us.
Gelbar's starting to give him suspicious eyes.
We travel all
gun-
over the globe. We travel to Starshout Kingdom. We travel to the Gar Ways. Anywhere and everywhere we can find our trade and travel is where we sell.
Tell me more about this gunpowder.
Oh, it's super cool. We found it from, Harmonious Haven has a bit of it from the gnomes and stuff, but we found a lot of it in Ironspire Peaks from the dwarves. Apparently it's something that, they have managed to make every now and again by accident. Some of them say it's a very explosive powder, and we've tested it a few times, and oh boy, it does kick a punch. And so, we put inside like tiny little bottles and stuff, and then, we can throw it somewhere and then light the pile of dust on fire. It's a big boom. Pretty cool.
Yes, I've heard of their timed fuses and mining bombs.
Yeah. The
Had a few
gnomes seem
opportunities
to
watch them
prefer
in
it for
action.
some reason. We sell primarily to gnomes at this point.
That will come in much more handy than your lantern oil. Please, let's go see your friends now.
The way you say that gives him pause for a second. He goes,
We should go.
yes. Just a fair warning. We're all part of the Joes. They're not quite family, at least a few of them aren't, but a few of them are. But we're all the Joes. We're the traveling Joesmen. Just a fair warning in case you get confused on our names. I'm Joe 1. Technically, I'm Joe 2, but you can name me Joe 1 for now.
Joe, and fair warning to you. He gets real low eye to eye with it. If this is a trap, it will mean nothing to me to kill you first.
He means that.
He like smiles really awkwardly, goes, yeah.
Is there not so kill happy today? Galvar just says, and throwing his arms up.
With your reputation, I don't doubt it. He like turns
We
around.
have one?
He does. I don't know who you are, Missy, but the Silver Knight is known quite far.
Cyril, you're famous. I didn't know that.
I hadn't realized it.
Just depends on the circles. He just like starts power walking.
Wow.
Clearly scared him a little bit shitless there. Alright.
Silver Knight's a cool name.
Isn't it? I like it.
Ania is actually going to ask Cyril, is this drug that you're worried about it being, is it the kind that if we blow it up, it's gonna get into everyone's systems? Because I don't think that would be a good idea.
If it's dwarven made, there's a non-negligible chance. They basically are immune to poison.
The last time I burned this to the ground, I was close enough where the fumes would have done something. And they didn't, so I think we'll be okay.
Galvar now gives him an incredulous look.
Alright. So you guys head on your way. It takes about probably maybe half an hour to an hour or so to get to him. And the merchant kind of, Joe just kind of makes, random, small talk for the most part. Kind of talks about being in the Zahar marshlands and avoiding the small campments of goblins, going through the Gar Waste and, dealing with the lava pools and the volcanic eruptions and the general heavy deserts and the difference between that and the Iron Spire peaks and the frozen mountains as far as the eye can see. And it pretty much just regales you with tales for the next like half an hour to an hour or so. But eventually you guys get to what appears to be a little bit of clearing, and you guys hear a lot of different people's voices, telling jokes, telling stories, kind of slapping each other upside the head, a few of them. And you guys, walking, you see two people who look almost identical to Joseph, probably his other siblings, and then you see like 3 or 4 other people or so, probably 3. Who one's a dwarf, one is a half elf, and one's a weird looking goblin. Like he's just kind of like sharpening a twig on next to the campfire, like shoving the shavings onto the fire, and he's wearing the same clothes as everyone else is. They're all wearing like general merchant garb, but they all have like a weird like color pattern to them. Joe's one is like browns and grays, and everyone has gray on them, but some of them are like pink and gray, some of them are like blue and gray. Seems like a main way to differentiate them. The Joes, I have arrived! And they all start clapping, and then they see Cyril, and then they immediately stop clapping. They just stare at him. And I have brought a party. I still don't know half the names.
Galvar just pleasantly waves.
Hello. I don't like to.
You see the what appears to be his 3 siblings walk up, and they all look almost identical. They're clearly quadruplets.
Quadruplets.
Quadruplets. They're clearly quadruplets, but they all have like different color schemes. Like, hello, my name is Jojo. My name is John. My name is Jojon. Our mother was very uncreative.
Very pleased to meet all of
Wow.
Your
This
reputation
makes it
far
so easy
precedes
to
you.
remember.
No, you see they randomly will move around each other as well, which really is almost headache inducing. But it's good to meet all of you, and your reputation precedes you, sir.
I very much appreciate that. These are my companions.
We're the Vale's Equinox.
Here you,
Fascinating.
I hear you have a great deal of information about a small drug trading town.
Indeed, I wouldn't say it's quite a town as it is like a storage area to a small encampment of movement and mystery. The one in pink says. The one in blue is like, yes. And then there's all kinds of weird stuff that we can look and see and discover. But the Vale's Equinox is a fascinating name. Do tell me what who are the people within this party?
And Jania does not go first. She sees if anyone else is willing to go first.
Sapphire's just gonna say, we are.
Ania
I love it.
sighs and
Yelmar just smiles, shakes his head, and just pipes up. My name is Gelmar. I come from the Ironspire Peaks.
Ania does a little bow with her staff. I'm Ania. I'm actually a druid.
Rue does a little wave and says, I am Rue.
That's all she says.
I am Rue.
Oh yeah, I guess I'm a cleric or something.
As you say that, they like all heads kind of turn to you with a look of like mystery and intrigue. That even the goblin stops whittling to look up at you.
Feeling
was-
all the stares, she just smiles with an absent look and says, if you need help healing, you just ask me.
Fair. Yeah, Sapphire, do you say your name or?
I don't trust you guys enough to say my name yet.
Nice.
Damn.
Nice.
Fair.
Yeah, fair enough. And they go, indeed, fascinating. With a cleric in your party, the end shall be successful. And then the last one who's wearing green, he's like, and we shall tell the tale of the Vale's Equinox with the cleric in the party and the Silver Knight Cyril, who has journeyed far and long for long years and ages to accompany you to your success.
That would be very much appreciated.
Indeed, it's the least we can do to tell the story of those who are heroes, who have succeeded the might against the power. Your name shall be heard from years and years, from one end of the Elysian glade to the highest peaks of the Iron Spire. We shall take your name far, my good sirs and madams.
I suppose we're going to have to actually live up to the hype.
They usually do. Now we're just sitting around the fire telling some stories for right now. The campment shouldn't be moving for quite a little whiles now from the best of our stories that we've heard so far, assuming it's still there. Would you like to join us? We have some food cooking in the pot. Our lovely goblin friend over there is a fantastic chef, assuming you give him the ingredients.
Actually, I was hoping that we could move a little bit sooner.
We're in a
Ah.
little bit of a rush.
I see, that is no problem. Do not worry, never fear, for we have done this trade and trick many a year. And he, like, snaps his fingers, and
Oh,
all
nice.
4 of them snap their fingers in unison, and all the other 3 people, the dwarf, half-elf, and goblin, they all, like, stand up, and they immediately start just shuffling things into their little caravan in the most perfect unison you have ever seen. It is packed up in less than a minute.
It's like a
And-
traveling circus putting itself away.
Yeah. And then the fire is put out.
Suddenly, I suspect these people will frequently have to make a run for it too.
We shall travel day, night, twilight, and through the darkness, and whatever else may come our way, hail, snow, rain, or fire. We've gone through it all. We've gone through the lava of the Gagar wastes. We've gone through the marshlands of the Sakahagan. We've gone through the mountains with the iron-spired peaks, and we've gone through the forest of the glade. And now we shall take you to where you seek to be, for my name is Joe.
Yes. Your other brother Joe mentioned gunpowder.
Oh, indeed, we have quite a bit of that. Jonathan Joe is, well, he's quite skitterish around these things, but I have been using it for years. You notice he has, burnt edges to his eyebrows.
Good. We will have need of it in the coming expedition.
Exciting! I will say you will have to pay for the ones that we use, but that's because, of course, we need the money to live. You understand.
I thought you were going to pay us.
We were going to. We'll subtract it from your pay.
So funny.
Right. And how much are these little explosives?
Each one's like 3 or so silver, depending on how many you use. We're planning on paying you about, give or take 30 gold or so, depending on how well the job you do, and depending on how many resources that we get from the supply area. I am assuming it will be many, which is why the price is so goddamn high. But we don't deal with drugs. So if you do in fact get any, it is up to you how to dispose of it or how to intake it. Yeah, we don't really care what you do with it. Is whatever. We do carry a sample on us, though, in case you guys want to see it. We don't like it very much, but we do know a couple of people who would be willing to die over it, so it gives us quite a hefty fee if we find somebody. And then we can usually track them back to the area, and then usually that gives us more information. You know how it works. You've done it before, I'm sure.
May I see?
Oh, absolutely. He reaches into his pocket and he pulls out a small container of very fine white powder and hands it to you. Don't ingest it. It will make you go batshit crazy.
This is all that you have, correct?
Pretty much. We don't like carrying a lot of it. We mostly just use it in order to trace people back to where they're going. It's quite an effective tool if you have an idiot.
First of
Yeah,
all, while
Lee.
I'm looking at it, is this moon dust?
100%. You've not seen it in probably years, but it is absolutely moon dust. And you can also tell from the ring of dust around the top. That's kind of like compressed into the top area. Yeah, it hasn't been opened in probably like half a year, if not longer. What were you saying, Neil?
Don't destroy it.
It's actually not any cost whatsoever. Really, it's just a tool for us to use. So if you do destroy it, we will hopefully be able to replace it. But preferably don't, because it might get into yours or your gentleman crews here orifices. And well, the stories we've heard is not pleasant from this particular substance. Assuming our intel is correct, at least.
It is particularly unpleasant, yes.
Oh, good. I'm glad that we found the correct stuff. This stuff is harder than gold to find. And the people who use it are harder to track down than weasels in the wastes.
Mm. The first one I'm happier about than the second one, but I can agree that the second one is true.
Indeed, he holds out his hand for the jar.
Cyril.
I really don't want to give this back.
But if you do, they can find more people who have it.
We do specialize in finding those who do not wish to be found. It is in fact a tool of our trade. Oftentimes we just stumble upon them like you folks, and other times we investigate, we find, we seek, and we explore until we do in fact find that which we want to galore.
Gelmar's eyes light up. I will gladly give up my portion of the pay if you could do me a favor when this is all finished.
Oh, fascinating! We love having money. What would you like?
I have an organization I'm currently trying to track. Beyond our immediate region, I know very little of their whereabouts, he says, before pulling out the cloak.
Oh, fascinating. I've seen this substance a few times in the past, and darker than night, blacker than black. Ah, we shall fight the good fight. Do not worry, I will find this. Wherever these are, somewhere. Do you have any more information upon them, good sir?
They go by the title Obsidian Wyverns. They hail from the Iron Spire Peaks, and they have abducted my sister.
Fascinating. Yeah, sorry about the whole abduction process, but fascinating. We'll do this. Even if we cannot complete this mission, we will run, but we will find the person of which you are seeking. Assuming we don't die. But we will run before we die. Now the one who runs lives to see another day of which they can find people who suck and gain money.
Oh no, you
from
don't even
them.
need to find the individual. I just need you to find their base.
Oh, that's even easier. Yes, we will be happy to investigate and find bases of this individual or this group of individuals. Is what we specialize in best. Do you have a way for us to contact you?
Do you have a sending stone?
No.
Crud. He says, that's why I had
Girl.
his face.
I actually fish around in my pocket for a minute because this is like them being able to contact us is starting to sound super important. He's going to grab his own sending stone and reluctantly hand back the vial of moon dust.
Mm-hmm.
Now you have a sending stone, and unfortunately, still have your vial of moon dust.
Fabulous! And he puts the vial away into his pocket. Alright, well, this sending stone doohickey whatchamacallit, and he tosses it behind him, and the goblin reaches up, grabs it, and just kind of like tucks it into their bag. We'll be safe and sound. No one has caught our goblin just yet. And well, one did, and then he bit off his hand. It's a really messy ordeal. They never did recover, especially after getting stabbed in the throat.
If you find more of where we're about to go, as well as if you find information about the Obsidian Wyverns, please contact us immediately.
I will be more than happy to. The JoJos are always here in order to make sure your earliest convenience is in fact the earliest of conveniences. We are convenient and fast. We do what we do because we love what we do and because we're assholes. And everyone knows that an asshole will be found.
Ania grimaces and gives her sending stone to Cyril. And she's like, I already used that one today, but you can have it.
You are a fascinating party, and I'm glad that the tales of the Silver Knight are not as gruesome as we were expecting them to be.
We're going to need
Give
to
it
get
time.
another. We're going to need to get another stone when we get back to the Haven, aren't we?
No.
Oh.
Yes, Galmar says, giving him a side eye.
Ania sighs.
Gotta have a stone for Nia to be horrified by. Yeah, he's like, well, shall we get on our way then? The caravan is all prepped and ready. It has been for a couple minutes now, and the journey is yet to begin. Would you like more tales of the Fare Thee Wells?
Gelmar is already vigorously nodding.
Fabulous.
Before we do that, I would like, as we go towards where we're going, any more information you have about this space.
Oh, indeed, the information that we've gotten is sparing and sparing, but the barren news that we carry upon us is sprinkled with the dust and litter of those who've come before. We hear it from birds, we hear it from crows, we hear it from Joes, and we hear it from people who have found their way to, from, and for the way that we're going. You know, he does stumble over his words every now and again, attempting to give some kind of theatrical aspect to it, but clearly he hasn't done this for a little while. Also ignore me drinking constantly.
I know a raven back home would have a lot of fun.
Ah, we do like ravens. We hear very many of them every day and every night. They call our names and call our sight, but we go on forwards, and as we do, the tale of the world is what we see now.
All the ravens are called Joe.
The raven's called Joe?
Yeah, there's a raven called Fancy Joe, and I think all the ravens go by Joe.
Oh,
I can
that's
talk to
kinda
them.
cool. Do they call at you?
No, I can talk to them.
Oh. We give them usually trinkets in exchange for information, of which they peck at people until the people write down stuff, and then they hand them to the birds, and the birds take them to us. It's a very useful organization, but I do enjoy the idea that the birds have taken our moniker. I do hope they have not taken the JoJo name, though.
No, I think they just all go by different Joes.
Fabulous! The JoJo name has been held in sanctuary for eons. It has been passed down from child to son, to child, to father, to child.
Indeed.
The JoJo name will carry far, and you must bring it with you no matter where it may be. And he pulls out a little patch, and he like hands it to you. This is the JoJo name patch. Wherever you go, JoJos will know who you may be.
Standing, I will hang on to this.
How many sects of your family are there?
Many! We are everywhere and nowhere at the same time. Let's just say our father was a very virile man. And let me tell you, he does not discriminate.
Well, that's nice of him.
We have family all over the continent. The dwarves are our favorites because we go there and we drink. We are always held to a fancy banquet by our brothers and sisters in arms and blood.
They do
Can
not
I-
just throw one hell of a party, don't they?
What was that, Neil?
Can I have a patch too? I need to repair my cloak. Anyway.
Oh, absolutely! He pulls out another one from... You're not really sure where he's pulling them out of, but he hands it to you. I have many of
Anyone will
them.
I'm gonna repair a cloak with it later.
All right, onwards we go, ladies and gentlemen. He starts walking, and his whole troop and band kind of follow him as he goes. Now, the area that we're going to is full of mystery, intrigue, and possible death. It is people who have been here for many years, possibly, or maybe it's weeks. We're not entirely sure. The stories are very missing and very difficult to recognize. But as we go along and we see, it'll be from mountains to hilltops to little farms and villages, and then we shall get to a small encampment inside of a closed-off region of the area, blocked by many hills. In this area, they mine. We don't know what they're mining for or why, but they have some kind of mining setup done. There's boxes galore, or maybe there's not. We're not entirely sure about that, but we're hoping there is, because that means resources! And there's people. Because you need people in order to do effective drug trade, and if you do not have people, then the drug trade fails. And let me tell you, Missy, we have found many people trying to go over to that area. We've also killed quite a few of them, because they're assholes, and we do not like assholes.
How
Except for
many
ourselves.
people
4, probably.
in total?
Yeah, last couple of weeks, about 4.
Manning the entire camp?
I mean, I assume. We
Oh,
had one who was
wait.
trying to take the dust from us, and then we just kind of stabbed him a couple times, and we asked him where he was going exactly, and the guy was like, I'm going back to my camp,
Okay,
but fuck
one
you.
second. I think Sarah was asking if that's how many people are at the camp. I think you guys were saying that's how many people you've killed going to the camp.
Indeed.
If
We have
find
no idea how many
stray-
was at the camp.
Speaking of the camp, if we find any stray metal scrap while we're wandering around there, who have any problems with us walking off with a few pieces?
None in the
Awesome.
slightest. We don't typically carry metal scraps because we can't do much with them.
A pity.
Indeed. If we had a blacksmith on our team, we could in fact probably do less because it'd be harder to pick up stuff, but that's okay. It's also heavy, so we don't like carrying much, because when we had to take it all the way to a big town, and then we had to fix up the big town, and then we had to fix up the thing in order to sell it at a reasonable price. It's just too much effort.
Delmar's is already fiddling with his mount. Yes, it's very easy to bring in a couple of the basic tools with you. But the anvil and the forge is not exactly an easy thing to pack, he says before slipping it away back on his belt.
Indeed, you understand, my good sir. We partake in books, trade, and all kinds of food and stuff. Things that we can carry easily, that we can carry quickly, and things that will not go bad, including a variety of knives. He opens the side of the cart, and you guys see like 50 knives on the wall of it. Many of them are in decent condition, some of them are in better condition, some are just rusted pieces of crap. We carry a lot of knives, because they're fancy.
Can I do an
Butter
Arcana
knives,
check?
cheese knives, steak knives.
You're more than welcome to.
You know, I suppose I was going to be doing a couple
Nice.
of basic crafts tonight in transit. I suppose I could whetstone a few of those up in the process.
You're more than welcome to if you like. The better the quality of the knives are, the better we get to sell them at. Nia, as he says this, and you kind of like look and try to identify some kind of like magical aura from them. The only one that you can really get any source of like magical connection from is one that's kind of near the top left. It is a very short knife, probably like a 5-inch knife or so, completely jagged. It looks like it probably was like, you know, like obsidian knives had those like very serrated, jagged edges and stuff. Kind of looks like that. It would be an extremely painful knife to stab someone with, and you get some kind of magical aura from it, but you're not quite sure what.
Can I see that one?
Oh, that's one indeed. He like jumps up, and then his brother like goes under him and lifts him up higher. And he's like whoop whoop, and like he drops back down, and they're still walking while they're doing this, by the way. He holds it out to you. This is honestly, I don't remember where we got this, but it looks like a hell of a knife to kill people with.
Ania will take it by the handle and she'll like look at it and move it like so the party can look at it. And she'll just like state, now that it's in her hands, this one's magic.
Oh. Interesting.
And she'll let the rest of the party investigate.
Is anyone else intrigued by this knife of I would say it's like a almost a blue tint to it. It's like a
Yeah, I'm
bluish
intrigued.
silver. As you-
Could I do a check to identify it?
Yeah, do a either an investigation or arcana, whichever one was higher.
Actually, now I need to double check a rune because I actually have one that does stuff with Arcana checks.
Ooh, fascinating. Which one is
You have
that?
advantage on it's my storm rune. Let's see. You have advantage on intelligence arcana checks and cannot be surprised as long as you are not incapacitated.
Okay. So yeah, roll.
Do I want to do that though? Because I got a -1 to arcana.
Oof.
Can I have a -1 to
I don't
investigation? I have a
know.
-1 to investigation as well, though.
What'd you say,
So
Sapphire?
yeah,
I have the
I was
spell
just
identify.
commenting on the -1.
Oh, that's a
Oh.
useful spell, actually. Hold on. Do.
I mean, it's a passive on the rune. I could pass the rune to her to make it easier.
Yeah. Let me look at what Identify does real quick.
Identify tells you the magical properties of the weapon, but it will ignore any effects of a curse if one such thing exists.
Okay. Yeah, you're more than welcome to use that if you'd like to, Sapphire. Bypass the Arcana / investigation entirely.
At wheel.
So you cast it and you kind of look at the knife, and what you can tell from this knife is that this is, you would almost call it a ritual knife. It is not designed specifically for combat. It is designed to make a death as painful as possible. Mechanically, it does a 1d6 necrotic damage and causes bleed if you rip it out of them. So they take 1d6 slashing damage until either they patch up themselves, apparently it's magical, so you can't quite heal it properly, or you use Dispel Curse and then use Cure Wounds. So it takes a lot to heal this, but it's very little damage. But it's specifically designed to be as painful as possible when killing someone.
Goodness.
So it's very serrated and very jagged on non-serrated bits.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, this entire knife looks like if a snake knife had a baby with a shark teeth.
Now I'm just imagining a knife that just has 3 blades, two ones that are shaped like a saw blade at the side of the actually sharp one.
But yeah, that's kind of what you see, Sapphire, as you're looking at it.
I relay that to the party.
Oh.
For blood rituals, then I take it. Interesting.
It's a bit
guys must have-
gnarly.
It is dirty.
Let me take a
Guys
look
must
at
have-
it.
She'll hand it over.
I know that it's probably already irrelevant, but can I run that Arcana check anyway?
Oh, 100%. Ooh, very nice.
Yeah, I don't see anything. Remember, I have a debuff to intelligence.
Yeah, it's a pretty good roll for a debuff. But yeah, you're kind of like looking over it. It definitely has that magical property to it. You can tell, kind of just from holding it and stuff, the material of the knife is exceptionally well made. Is clearly dwarven forged. You would recognize the design of it anywhere. But it is definitely dwarven forged. But the serrations are not. The serrations of the blade and the magic applied to it definitely are not. Or dwarven is almost an insult to make a weapon like this to most dwarves. So it is very, very powerful steel or metal, but is damn near unbreakable from what you can tell, unless it's really hit with some serious force.
Can I give it a whiff to try and figure out if it's made with a common metal?
Sure. It is an uncommon metal, I would say. It's something that, like, you could probably get a decent quantity if you stayed in the Iron Spire's peaks for like a month or two. So it's not uncommon. It's not like super common. It's not like super rare. It is just not going to be appearing very often, but is extremely durable. Very common to be used with like high class weapons.
Can I identify what kind of metal or what the actual name of the metal is?
Man, you got making me think of names.
I'm sorry. It's just like I gotta figure this one out.
I just slowly
Let's see,
licks
what
them
can I
out. No, I'd
recommend?
say I would say it's I would call
Bronze,
it. I want something with
electrum,
R.
invar.
Oh, Inbar. I'll go with Inbar.
Okay.
I like the name Invar, so we'll go with that. So it's a metal of Invar. Very, very stubborn metal. Very hard to forge with, which is why it's not commonly used, and it's also somewhat hard to find. But once you are
Sometimes
able
used
to
in
forge
making
it, it's
machines.
pretty damn good.
I think I recognize this type of metal. They sometimes have it exported from the peaks over or towards the gnome lands. Something about it's a good material for their usage in machines. I think they call it Invar. Interesting alloy,
Fascinating.
I'll add.
We're running a deal on it. It's only 2 gold.
Sapphire here's head. You know, if we find the distributor, I might have need of something that would make it quite painful.
You said 2 gold?
Indeed. Normally, a beauty like
Okay.
this would be 5 or 6. But the deal for you fellows, because you're such a good companion and party, is only 2.
Okay. Sapphire hands over 2 gold.
Fabulous doing business with you folks. Man, I'm getting more money now than I have for the last week. We will be eating good tonight, fellows and folks. Or tomorrow, I suppose, depending on when we complete this mission of ours.
I'd be glad to finish this job up pretty soon as well. We've had a few other things on our plate that we need to be attending to pretty soon afterwards as well.
Then we shall make the journey quick, speedy, and excellent. Now then, folks, as we journey, let me regale you with the tale of when we went to the Gagar Wastes and we met some orc ladies. They're big. Yeah.
Oh, do tell. Kalmar says with a smile.
He pretty much regales you with tales for an next, like, effectively y'all walking for like half a day, more or less, whatever breaks you guys wish to take in the time being. But it's a pretty long walk to wherever you guys are going, and unless you stop him, he's just telling you guys all different stories about all different sections of the continent in gruesome and or unpleasant detail.
I mean, Gelmar's intrigued the entire time.
Ania might try to lag behind and try to get Rue to have a one-on-one.
Okay.
If Rue's would like see that and like be okay with the one-on-one.
Sure. She sees you coming up. Hello.
And you'll like start to like purposely slow down a bit so they're like away from the others, and she'll speak up like, "How are you doing?"
Hmm. Felt really bad at first, she said. But I got something from Grimley's shop, and I think you'll be able to help me out next time that I mess up.
You did? I didn't see you buy anything. What'd you
Oh
get?
yeah, everyone was leaving. I got this thing. And she'll show the little vial.
She'll look at it.
What is it?
It gives, what is it? Total resurrection, no matter what happens. I thought
Mia's
about a child, and so I felt really bad about the mistakes that I made. So I'm going to be able to use it next time that I make a mistake.
Ania looks shocked for a bit, and she's just sort of staring at it. And
That must have been expensive. What did you give?
I believe I gave just the happiness that I had when I cast Fireball. Before, it was really fun, I think, to cast Fireball. But Oh, no, no, it's just kind of a spell.
Hmm. I was going to tell the party later that maybe we shouldn't go to Grimley too often. That sounds very expensive, though. Definitely, uh, tell the party, but otherwise keep it on the down low. People would definitely try to take that if they knew.
Mm. That's a good idea. I will go and tell them at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
When it comes to what happened,
Yes.
I know how it is, or not me exactly, but a part of me. And he wants to talk to you more, but now's not a good time. But a part of me knows how it is to be responsible for someone's death accidentally, especially someone you definitely didn't want to get hurt.
It's true.
And there's not much we can do to make up for it, but he would explain this a lot better than I could, but and she'll like raise a hand to try and like pat on Rue's pauldron. It's difficult to say between there's a part of it that wants to say it's your fault, like I'm sure in your heart. But there's also a part of it that, or part of in general, where it's not. And that's going to be really hard to believe for a while.
You know, when I got this vial, I thought to myself, I could go back right now and try to resurrect her, the mother.
Mm-hmm.
But Grimly had told me that it's only is a surefire if it's within minutes of it happening. And after that,
Oh.
it's a kind of gamble. I don't know what kind of horrible things would happen. Part of me wants to go back to right now and give it to them and say, maybe there's a chance that it could work. Or maybe I would just only be bringing more suffering to them with whatever happens.
There could be, but there could have been a chance, but she's not the only one who died during that. Either from fireball or from just whatever that place has been doing, plus all the people who were taken away, kidnapped over the years. If she was brought back, those other villagers who have also lost people, I'm not sure how they would react to that.
But I also saw it as something that I specifically did. I guess I just wanted to try and help, but now it's too late.
You'll think on that for a little bit. And she'll respond. It may have been something you specifically did, but that thing you specifically did also helped save the child and the father and everyone else included. And I think the mother, I'm sure she would have rathered maybe some other, maybe not use fireball, maybe use something else, but I'm pretty sure she's probably happy at least that her child's okay, and she won't have to worry about her being kidnapped in the future. We can't be perfect.
But we could try to be a little better. Her gaze kind of narrows, and putting away the vial again. Thank you, but yeah. At least I have something that can help out next time I make a mistake.
Nia nods.
Thank you for asking.
You're welcome. Thank you for telling me.
Oh
You
yeah.
can, you can always make mistakes, but it's good to learn ways to avoid them in the future, like you're doing, in ways to help in case a mistake does happen.
Yeah, I can't imagine what would happen if I made another mistake and I didn't have this vial. I think that would be horrible.
Nia will do a sort of low chuckle and she'll be like,
Well, the reason I even exist is because I made a mistake that got someone hurt.
Oh goodness. I'm sorry to hear that.
It's okay. That part of me, maybe you'll meet him sometime. He's not gonna be happy, I'm telling you this. He's probably gonna, don't, like, he'll know, but don't bring it up. He still feels guilty for it, and it's been years.
I'll keep it secret.
Okay.
and Nia will start to break off.
Nice. And Sapphire, did you want to talk to any of the party as well, or did you, or we move on?
I have a cart, right?
You have a
I'm
what?
playing D&D. We're walking with the cart, right?
Yeah.
I'm hopping on top of the cart and opening a book.
I
Good.
love that. All right, cool. So you get onto the top of the cart. As you do so, you actually see the goblin also sitting on the top of the cart. And he's just kind of like, just sitting there cross-legged staring. And as you pop onto the cart, he just slowly turns his head at you and then just stares at you. A dead, beady eye stare that just looks like he's staring off into 1,000 years into the future and unblinking for like minutes at a time.
I ignore him and continue reading.
Fair enough. And then, Gamor, did you want to have a conversation with somebody?
Not during transit. I can't really think of much he'd be doing aside from listening to the stories, just rattle on.
Fair enough. He pretty much just doesn't stop talking for most of your guys' journey. The only time he does is a short period of time where you guys kind of sleep for a little bit. Probably around, nighttime or so. Part of a day has passed at this point, and kind of getting nighttime, so everyone kind of buckles down for a little bit. Obviously you need your rest before you go and pillage an entire village, so
Oh, this is going to be a weird conversation to have when we get back to the Haven.
Cool. Fun times.
I'm intrigued. All right, so you all pretty much settle down to rest a little bit to get your energy up before continuing on to the next area. During that rest, do you want the conversation, or will it be after the village pillage?
I mean, honestly, it's probably. I'm assuming that Ania's probably going to be doing some level of what's the word I'm looking for here? For the love of God, divination, right?
She's actually going to be working with those poison samples. So she's probably
Ooh.
like near the campfire trying to distill them into like separate the poison from the water because she feels it has to be like done quickly.
Hmm.
Fair enough. In that case, before her, if there's a moment I could catch her when it's basically just. No, what's the word I'm looking for here? If there's a moment I can catch her when there's almost nobody active, primarily because almost everyone else is in bed and or out doing something else,
Mhm.
I'd actually like to have a private conversation with her.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Nia usually. How's the weather tonight?
It's more or less a clear night. Especially with the
Varies
last
that
couple
line.
of days and you guys going into fall. It's starting to get a little bit colder, probably like 50 degrees at nighttime. The skies are clear for the most part. Usually in a couple weeks or so, you guys will start getting some rains over in Listening Glade, but for now it's just clear skies and cold weather.
Yeah, Ania will probably do a divination at some point because the last time she did one, it did not work out.
Mhm.
And so she'd probably try again to see if she can get like the monthly reading.
Okay.
So she'll be up late.
I'll follow her out of camp to at the very least have some sort of conversation. And during transit
Mhm.
to or from, haven't decided yet.
Okay. Cool.
Sorry,
So
would
you,
you be opposed to me, Bob, joining you tonight?
And you'll look over like, oh, not at all.
I had a couple of thoughts I wanted to run past you. Anyway, if that's all right.
Sure. Do you want to ask the stars anything?
I'm not certain how well they'd be able to tell how my sister's doing this far away.
And you will think on that and
I'm not totally sure how they'll do on something so specific.
and she'll like be thinking on it for a while and Gelmar can ask something in the time.
mhm.
So, how are you holding up exactly? It's been quite the ordeal lately, after all, anyway.
In what way?
Well, I guess that's probably. I apologize for the dubiousness of the phrasing, but how did it feel returning to your normal form?
Oh, well, I haven't been in that for years. So pretty weird.
But it felt normal ultimately, right?
No.
Hmm.
No.
But did it feel wrong?
That's a better question. Asking if something I've never done feels normal is definitely not the right one, but you're trying to ask if it feels right to be in your quote unquote true form, right?
When I took the form during that battle, something didn't feel right. I remember that form. I've had it for most of my life. But at the very least, when I tried taking the form during that battle, something felt wrong, like it wasn't me, in a way I could not explain. That's
Ania
not normal,
will
right?
Ania will like point over towards Gelmar's armor and she'll speak up like,
Well, think of it like maybe you're wearing an outfit you've never worn before, and something that's very much not your style, no armor or anything. You'd probably feel pretty weird, right?
I suppose, but it doesn't quite feel like that sort of thing.
are you worried something's wrong with it?
The nature of the spell itself isn't exactly clean, I suppose is the easiest way to phrase it.
Hmm.
Gelmar never existed. He was a fragment, or he was a mask that I created for the sake of interacting with amongst the other humanoids. But the spell that makes me take the form also slowly transitions one into that form the longer you hold it. The spell wasn't meant to be held for much more than a few hours at a time, but that was the last time I dropped it in over the course of the past year.
So it when was the last time you were your true self, you say?
The morning before, or the kidnapping, I was just on my way back to the peaks after a successful hunt. Was planning to simply pawn off part of the extra meat that I had collected to the local butcher, but shortly after taking the humanoid form, taking the last turn to enter the city, well, I suppose you kind of already know how the story went from there.
But how long ago was that?
Almost a full year.
And your form felt normal before, right?
Yes. I
Likely it's
suspect
something.
I'm beginning to suspect holding this form is slowly erasing the nature of what I used to be.
Neil will think on that, and she'll offer a sort of alternative. And she's going to say, well, I don't really feel like being me is erasing another part of me, but those restraints may be doing something.
I suppose it's possible, but it's hard to say for certain with, well, my limited ability to examine them. They didn't
I've.
look particularly unusual when you tried previously, right? Oh, well, aside from the eating magic thing.
Well, that's what I was going to mention. They eat magic, and although I don't really know much about dragons at all, aren't most dragons magical creatures innately?
Innately, yes, but that's mostly due to the fact that we wield a magic that's not exactly common amongst most, excuse the term, but small folk.
Hmm. Well, that's okay. You can get back at me for saying dragons were creatures. Um,
Honestly, I feel with regards to some of us, that's fairly true. Then again, I guess as that same statement can be said with some humanoids.
there's a possibility that because it's eating your magic, it's eating some part of you. If we want to really give it some sort of explanation.
Perhaps. Still, part of me, he thinks, or is wondering if it might be better to take it a few more times a day just to see if that does anything different. Even with those consequences, he mutters under his breath while scratching at his neck.
Hmm. Does it hurt you to do it more often?
No, it just hurts when and it forcibly drags me back to this form.
Well, the downside to using it more is that you'll be big a lot more and a lot more noticeable.
That's fair, but out in the wilderness, especially in the moments when no one else is around, doesn't really seem like that's going to be as big of a deal.
And Nia will perk up and clap her hands together. Can I ride on top of you if you do that?
He gives you a confused look. What? I don't understand.
Well, you'll be a big dragon, right?
Well, yes, but I don't understand the significance of riding on my back or wherever you're planning to put the mark.
Well, I don't want to compare you to a horse, but it sounds cool.
I suppose it probably wouldn't exactly be hard to get the mark off if worse came to worse. Very well, he says before lifting his head and looking around. Is that a sort of thing you want to do now?
I don't think right now would be good. I'm pretty sure they would notice if they heard something big walking around.
I can turn it off anytime. I just need to make sure that we're far enough away that no one can immediately see.
Stomp, stomp, stomp.
And he'll wave a hand. I'm not going to ask you to transform right now just for that. It's more of a you thing if you want to transform.
Sooner or later, I definitely should at least take advantage of that rune a few times across the future, but as it stands, I probably want to keep it on the down low, especially with regards to anyone else that doesn't know the tale.
Well, if you want to give our Joe Merchant troop something really to talk about, you can totally turn into a dragon when we go to raid this place. They'll love that.
Oh, my friend. I think it's better that our lives are a lot easier if everyone just thinks we're extinct.
It's fair. You should. Hmm. We should have some sort of plausible thing to say that's as to, in case someone does see you, we need something to say other than you're a drag.
I see your point. Just never expected to have this conversation, especially not this early, or to have that conversation.
I could say, since I am a druid, I could say I make potions. Maybe there's a potion I make that you use to transform into that. I think there's some like polymorph potions.
That sounds about right. I remember my sister was quite fond of that spell.
I think that's pretty plausible.
It definitely would be one of the better starts, especially with an individual that isn't as familiar with magic.
And the rest of the party thinks you learned it from me anyway.
Maybe that's for the best at the moment.
Oh, Cyril probably knows for real though, just to like warn you.
Honestly, that wouldn't surprise me with how inquisitive I've seen him being, he says, staring off now, trying to verify he's not here.
Cyril just lurking in the tree line.
Stomp, stomp, stomp. I'm hiding away.
Antlers just like come around the side of a tree. Oh shit!
You caught me. Yeah.
Oh no, just better. Oh no, just better. They're just like poking out of a bush and somehow nobody's noticed.
I have hidden in this 2-foot bush. I have curled up like a baby. Alright, and then you want to kind of navigate the stars.
Yeah, I do want to just do like the monthly divination thing. So
Okay, and remind me,
That-
what does that generally tell you?
good
I haven't done
question.
it for a while.
So we usually do nature check.
Mhm.
And I think that's mostly just to check on the constellations and see if they're doing anything funny and just generally what a star druid would learn.
Okay.
So I'll do a nature check.
Mhm.
Nice.
Nice.
All right. It is a stunningly clear night tonight. It is beginning of autumn, I believe is what I named it. Just funny because it's the fall season. Let me just double check. Yeah, the month of autumn. So it's beginning of this month. The stars are turning into a small a leaf, essentially, in the sky. One of the reasons why they named it as such for the autumn leaves for most of the world. Unlike the last time you checked, it is fully formed now. The stars have shifted quite a bit. I believe it's the 3rd day of the month, or maybe the 4th day. It's one of those two. To the best of my memory. Let me just double check my notes real quick, because I do have notes of all the days. Is the 4th day. Or starting to become the 4th day. It's the night of the 3rd day. So the stars are fully aligned now. It's generally formed. As you're looking at them, it looks, I suppose, peaceful would be the word. Usually especially in the month of autumn, is a month of transition, a month of change to a degree. Usually peaceful change, generally speaking. And this month appears to be, it might be a little bit colder than most other months have been. At least the start of autumn is usually quite cold. So it might be dropping in heat here soon. Probably down to, I think the coldest you would expect it to get is about 30s, maybe 40s or so. It gets colder and more north you guys go, but you're pretty far in the south. So for the most part, it still stays a relative temperature. So probably about 40s is where you're expecting it to go down to. Not exceptionally cold, but still pretty. So you might want to bump up a little bit. And then there's from what you can see in the stars, things are going to be changing. You're not sure what is going to be changing, but this is the month of change. The month where things, stars at least, astronomically speaking, switch into something or another. For better or for worse, is just a month of change.
Right. Nia will make note of that, and she'll
since Gelmar's here, she'll sort of relay what she found and basically say, the stars, well, this is the month of autumn. This is the month of change. The stars may tell me more in the coming days. It's going to get a lot colder, though. I guess I'll have to repair my cloak early.
If only I could hand out that blessing. But at least probably do something to alleviate the chill.
I'm sure we got some stuff.
I suppose. Ah,
We have some of the leather that Sapphire collected, and he'll start to get up.
that's fair. Perhaps with some with some skilled leatherworking, she might be able to make a few coats. Though I'm
We-
perfectly comfortable in these sorts of conditions, or more accurately, in this sort of armor for those sorts of chilly conditions. Used to wander around with almost, well, a bit less in the Ironspire Peaks, so I'm more comfortable in the cold myself, so it shouldn't be that big of a deal for me. I would hope anyway.
Oh, you're right. Well, we can always get some blankets or something from our wandering merchant troupe.
That's fair. I'd imagine they have a few on hand.
I doubt they'll be very expensive. Was there anything else?
Excuse me while I double check that again. I don't think there was anything else to talk about, but.
Mhm.
Oh, right. Did you find much when you examined that room?
Sin.
That is a good question. Remind me of the rune real quick.
The brown
So-
rune was the rune that he had invoked to essentially temporarily mitigate his restraints to allow him to transform. The ultimate return being when the enchantment from the rune wore off.
Okay.
And he had one night to examine it, and they don't last like very long. So she had like a night to examine the one that he gave her.
Okay. Did I have you do a roll for that?
I think you
I
had me
think
do
you
an.
did. I think it was pretty good. It was
Okay.
something
There
about 16, I'm
was-
pretty sure.
There
Okay.
was an initial roll when she first received it, but then she spent the night studying it. And I don't think we did a roll for that.
Okay. You spent most of the night studying it before it disappeared, and I would say probably you had a good roll with it. So I would say you learned probably quite a bit from it. Most of the runes that Gelmar makes, at least from the best that you can tell, is an extension of himself. So it's his magic extending into the rune, and the rune itself acts as a conduit for his magic in a similar way that your staff works. It essentially is an extended part of himself, just disconnected from himself, if that makes sense. It'd be like if your staff could work without you touching it, more or less. So when you were studying this rune specifically, it, to the best of your ability to tell, which is not very well because it's rune magic instead of your normal nature or general magic nature.
Above
This-
game, draconic magic would probably look most closely to arcane sorcery.
Yeah. So this would probably be to you the best way you would be able to describe it with the little time that you had. Would probably be closest to saying it is effectively an enlarged spell that he is casting upon himself, which is modifying the his restraints and pretty much disabling them for a very short period of time.
Neil will think on it, and I learned a few things. Was there something specific you wanted to know about them?
I suppose it's more along the lines of, did you have any thoughts for ways I might be able to modify it to maybe make it a little bit more effective against these restraints?
And she'll like investigate the restraints. She's not touching them. She's just looking at them while she thinks.
Mhm.
Well, it's your magic.
She's actually going to look across them.
Oh, yeah, well, if she can, if they're there.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, she's
I actually
just
had a detail to mention for something on the back of the collar specifically, because it's something that Gelmar can technically never actually see.
Mhm.
ooh. I assume Gelmar wears a high collar coat, so she wouldn't see that automatically. It would depend if Gelmar like shows it to her on his own accord, because she's not gonna like touch him to move him around and stuff.
I mean, if she says that she wants to examine it, then sure, he'll give her access to it.
Unfortunately, she's just sort of looking at what she can see without him moving anything, if that's anything at all.
Mhm.
He would at least have to take off a glove to show you one.
Mhm.
Okay. And Neil will then be like, can I look at one just real quick?
Sure, he says, slowly removing the glove and holding it out to you.
And she'll just look at that one. She won't like touch his hand or anything. And she'll be like, well, these runes are your magic, so you're bypassing these restraints by putting your magic into an object. That much I think is pretty easy for me to tell. So in that case, whatever you would need to, I guess anyone else who knows rune magic would probably be able to tell you more how to write these runes to get the effects you want. I would definitely suggest seeking someone out who's specialized in that. Otherwise, it feels like you're casting an enlarge spell, but I'm not sure why that is bypassing the restraints effects.
Because the rune does multiple things. The primary thing it's been primarily doing is creating a above game sin. Actually, the way that the rune worked is that it creates an anti-magic field centered around the restraints specifically, so they can't absorb magic and they cannot detect magic.
Nice.
And then he just casts the spell himself.
Mhm.
I'm just using, to be honest, the only spell within these is just to mitigate the restraints. The transformation back to my normal form is a spell that I've just been carrying on my own.
Oh, so it's not you casting enlarge? Or it's not the rune casting enlarge?
Nope. The only thing the rune has been doing is turning off the restraints for a little while whatever magic remains within it lasts.
No, then why don't we just use that, then I try to dispel the magic?
I mean, I suppose it's as good of an idea as any. Do you think this is a good place to do that, or should we save that for a little later?
We probably should save it. I don't think doing anything that would endanger you or cause a fuss would be good right now.
I suppose that's fair.
But it's an option.
Probably the best one I've heard so far. We'll have to try that out when we get the opportunity.
I
You
love
can ask some of
anti-magic
the-
fields.
Ooh.
And we could ask some of the other spellcasters in the group if I think Rue knows dispel magic. We can try together.
I suppose I was going to have to tell them about that eventually anyway.
Well,
Especially
they
if
already
this is
know
like-
about the restraints. Rue did spend all that time trying to help you when you were in bed before.
I suppose that's fair.
All right. Ready to go back?
Anytime, he says, putting his glove back on and standing back up.
And then he will head back.
I see.
Gelmar will, of course, follow.
All right. You guys head back to the encampment. It's still the dead of night, so everyone's pretty much sleeping or resting or reading, depending on what you guys decide. But the night passes by fairly quickly, fairly easily.
Oh,
And
can I say something before
Oh,
we all
absolutely.
start? Joe's not here, right?
Joe's just a little bit away. His
Which
entire
Joe?
encampment is
There's four.
Oh,
Yeah.
true.
all of them were just kind of a little bit ways from you guys. They seem to be preferring to stick with their own, so to speak.
Oh, okay. I'll just pipe up and be like, I have something to say to the group.
Hmm.
Not like that's important, but
And Nia will like sit down, assuming she knows what Rue's gonna say.
Hmm.
with everybody's eyes on her. She can
Mhm.
just be her regular self and say, well, I didn't feel very good about that whole thing that happened, killing someone. Feel really bad about that. So I went over to Grimley's when you guys were heading over, following Joe initially. And I went ahead and I got a vial that brings back someone from the dead, no matter what condition they're in. Just kind of decided that I didn't want to mess up like before. If someone dies because of me, or because I don't have the money to be able to do the resurrection spell, at least I can fix some mistakes. Just wanted to let you guys know that.
That is a heavy choice to make.
Very much.
I
Are
mean,
you sure you're all right? Do you want to join in with my prayer?
oh yeah, I should probably talk to friend and stuff about that. Yeah, I'm still not good, but yeah, that would be good.
Feels like just about everything's been becoming far more stressful since the mirror.
Yeah. At least I have a good new goal now, instead of now. Well, also finding a good home eventually. That's a good home. Now I can have another goal to get rich.
You don't think you found one already? He says, giving a head tilt.
Well, I mean, no, that's cute, but also don't really have it like a house or anything. But it's a good time. That's
I
true.
suppose it would be nice to settle down somewhere after all this is said and done.
Another place, cool. But yeah, just wanted to also help you guys if not to feel so stressed. Kind of knowing that if eventually someone does die, hey, maybe there's something that we can do.
Gelmar's actually going to give her a hug. You've already done so much
Aww.
as it is. And I'm glad to be working with you. You're like a sister to me.
So cute.
Oh goodness. Okay, thank you so much. No cry. Thank you.
Sorry, too close. He says, letting go.
Oh, it's okay. It's like the strength rolls. Let's do this.
Okay,
Just fucking
actually strength
suplexes
roll.
you immediately.
So
Is
crunch.
that actually strength roll, or do you want
Let's do it.
athletics?
Yeah, both of you guys
I will
do a
win.
flat strength.
All right.
I'm going to win. Come
And
on,
he
Yeah,
is
you
like
probably
hiding
are.
behind Cyril.
Oh my
Wait,
god.
what?
The tears. Oh, the
Armor
tears.
groaning against the strength of Gelmar's hug.
I try.
Squish.
The competition will never end, she says, being squeezed.
Calm down. We can have another race in the morning.
Yes.
He says.
Plan on it.
He says with a amused smile before patting her on the head.
Yeah, so let me know if you guys have a way to get to like rich fast, and I can like spam out to the resurrection spell. It's definitely on my to-do list.
Ania will like lean over and wave her hands like, well, my potions seem to be pretty profitable.
It's so great. I get scavenge for herbs.
Step 1.
I'd be more than happy to help procure materials if you can tell me what you need.
Oh yay.
I love this group.
Let's get money.
Yeah, no more sad times ahead when
Money.
everybody can come back. It's good.
Let's still try to avoid having to use it, though. And I also wanted to mention, maybe let's... I know her items are really useful, and I know I'm the one who mentioned going to her in the first place, but
maybe let's try to find alternative ways to get the items we need. I don't think it's a good idea to visit Grimley too much.
Agreed.
It's true. Doesn't have a lot of memories to really give off, so it's kind of hard to keep going back there.
I would. That's not the point, Calamarsa.
Oh.
That's pointed to her.
I am running out of pieces of myself to give, yes.
Yeah, don't give any more of yourself away. I think you've given the most so far. Stop it.
Agreed.
Stop
Definitely agreed. The memories are important. The only real reason I gave up mine, or the fragment I did, is simply because I don't expect it's going to be important for exceptionally long if we're going once the task is finished.
I still think it's worth it.
Hmm.
This is above game. Sapphire sitting over here all guilty because she hasn't given Grimly anything.
Everyone's like paying for
I
her.
was
It's like,
gonna
wait a
say.
second.
Yeah.
Sapphire's just sitting on top of the fucking cart, just like, I'm just don't keep reading. Yep, I mean, totally,
Like,
totally,
paid for
just,
me.
totally gave something grimly. God, I wish. All right. Well, all y'all do your hugs and your reading and your squishes of squishy entirety of strength rolls and shit.
I swear. I'll be better.
Ignore the d6 I'm about to roll. This is for me.
Mhm,
Thank you.
mhm. And the night slowly passes. A little bit slower for some, a little bit faster for others. No dreams, weirdly enough. Most of you guys usually get like some kind of dream every now and again, but for some reason it's just kind of nothing tonight. And it's very odd. Rue, you feel a very light warmth on your shoulders. It doesn't feel like it normally does. It feels a little bit more distant than usual. Doesn't fade or anything like that. It's just very light touch on your shoulder throughout the night and as you wake up.
Oh, hey, friend.
Do we long rest?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yay.
Feel free to do long rest, ladies and gents, if you need it. But you all wake up and the caravan is pretty much by the time that you guys wake up, as the sun, kind of like rises and stuff, the entire caravan is all prepped and ready to go again.
Let me look at my spells.
Just like, all right, we're all good. And like every one of them is awake. The goblin is once again sitting on the roof staring at Sapphire, just whittling some kind of wooden figure. And Joe, the air quote leader, apparently it's Joe 1, kind of looks at everyone and goes, "Merry welcome to all who have woken. Shall we get to going? We can have food on the way."
Kelmer just like looks to Rue. Race to pack?
Oh, yeah, so let's go.
Speed.
gonna-
I am speed.
I am actually going to take this, going to take a few minutes to sit and meditate and just sort of try to focus for what is about to happen.
Okay.
And I'm going to also use this moment to use up all of my hit dice
Mhm.
for
Exertion
D4s of exertion.
points. 19, not bad.
Look at me go.
Nice.
Could be worse, could be better. You got wow, you got just a split.
Oh, yeah.
Half ones, half almost all fours. You just got a good split there, right down the middle.
See, the D4, the D4 is just, the humble D4 is not used enough.
It's very nice, D. I like it. All right, yeah. So you take a moment to meditate, just kind of thinking through the effort that will be used here soon.
How close are we to our destination?
Hour or two.
Hour or two?
Not very long.
So before we go, I want to pull Joe aside and kind of like get everybody in on this so that we can kind of try to plan what we're about to do.
Autopile.
Like I want to try and see, like, does Joe have do they have any idea what the layout looks like for the town? Where does it seem to be like the most of the drugs located? Does anything about the town look like there's one building's being used for manufacture?
The leader, Joe Joseph, I believe I named him. He pulls out a small map of the area that you guys are around. It's a very, very small, pretty much just like town by town map kind of a thing. And he plays it down and he just like, okay, right here in the middle is this little hill surrounded region. It's not super big, probably the size of a decent town or so. Probably a maximum of like 400 people could probably fit in here before it starts being squished. So it's a decent sized area, for a small town. From what we've been told, from the rumors and the words of the birds along the wind, primarily is a couple of tents that have been placed down, separated from all the different lands. They're using the tents as kind of a easy pick up and go makeshift manufacturing area in order to distill and create the dust. We don't know the specific way they're creating the dust. No one knows that information, at least not that we've found or heard from, or who is there at the moment. All we know is that it's a very small encampment of folks, and they're hiding out inside of the middle of a small ruins of this little castle area. Used to be heavily populated a couple, 100 years ago, but it's been laid to rest very, not recently, but a long time ago.
And
Anil will
no, go ahead.
Anil will raise a hand and she'll to Cyril's like, I could create a fog over the area.
Should we scout the area to see exactly how many people are there?
That's what that's what I think we might need to do. The fog would come in handy after.
I'm not sure how to make it so we can see better in the fog, but I could make a pretty decent sized fog. And if
It's a bit selfish to say, but I would see fine.
I have a rune that assists in seeing that which he cannot. Perhaps even a few seconds into the future, if need be. He says, staring at his. Excuse me while I double check what color this thing is. I think it was lavender.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a lavender rune.
Dang.
oh, that's crazy.
I'll only be able to give you a warning of a second or two in advance, but perhaps it could give us something.
Once we know where they're generally stationed, if I can do it right, I may be able to make it just seem like a natural morning fog. And they'll just think it's a super foggy day.
That might just work.
And we'll be able to go around and do whatever we need to do without doing, and she'll gesture to Joe, much damage to any goods.
I like how you think.
I think the best way to make sure that the goods that Joe and the rest of the Joes want.
We're the Traveling Joes.
Go Joe. Yes.
The Go Joes. Oh, I like that. Very interesting naming scheme. I enjoy it.
Your little creature thing in the
That's a goblin.
No, I'm not talking about. And he points to the goblin on the top of the cart. I'm not talking about him.
Oh,
Your little creature thing that you made.
me?
You're
Oh,
familiar?
he means your wild summon.
Oh, my familiar.
Yes.
Oh. They'll probably try to capture them, and last time I tried to have them scout around, well, I don't think she's very good at it.
I'm so sneaky, so sneaky.
So
No one can
sneaky.
see me.
I can try to ask, though.
The only other option we have would be to send Sapphire in there to scout, and I would like to avoid.
At least I'm sneaky.
It's true.
Sapphire
Yeah.
does have her cloak. I could also try to turn into a small creature, but I don't know what kind of people we're dealing with, and if they would potentially, if they see like a rat, they may just kill the rat.
Then a squirrel.
Maybe. They're pretty fast, and that's usually people won't go out of their way to kill a squirrel. I don't think Grimly would try to take a squirrel from me. It's always possible.
Roll an intelligence check real quick. See whether or not I give advice in this circumstance. Ania.
Okay.
Nia no longer knows what a squirrel looks like.
no longer know what a squirrel is. I suddenly think I don't know how to transform into one. So intelligence check.
Damn.
9.
I will not be giving you up on this.
Okay.
But I will say Sapphire does have fast without trace.
Yeah.
I think I would feel more comfortable.
Should I haste her? And she can go very fast and look at everything?
Oh, I can enhance her ability.
Fucking fastest motherfucker on the planet.
I think those two together would make me feel more comfortable about sending Sapphire in by herself.
Agreed. I'd rather not do that. Even if it's just for scouting, I still wouldn't recommend doing that alone.
She has the
guess if
sending
I'm-
stone.
He says, like, sifting through his own belongings to try and find something that might help.
If Ania goes with her as a small animal, she could get into places that Sapphire can't.
You'll think on it. I don't think we need to go into places we can't get into. What is it we're trying to find? That'll help us. So we just want to know how many people there are?
How many people, where they're storing the drugs, and the most central manufacturing tent, I suppose.
Someone that looks like the big boss?
Yes.
Okay,
What?
so
That, yes.
how many people, more or less, whoever's in charge, where the central manufacturing tent and where the storage tent are? I think knowing how many people and who the boss is are probably on the top of the list.
Yes.
It might not provide much aid, he says, holding out his familiar green rune to you. But you might be able to play a normal, a little bit easier, or with with this rune's magics. He's offering you his cloud rune.
Mm.
It gives
Oh.
it gives advantage on sleight of hand or deception checks, either active or verbal.
It could be useful, actually.
Interesting.
Sapphire, what do you think?
Above game, I'm thinking I might be able to finally use my deception check.
You could do it.
Yeah.
You could
Yep.
take the rune.
What would Sapphire think in this situation?
Do you think you'd be more apt to do it on your own? Do you want one of us to go with you if possible?
Well, in my mind, it'd be easier to have just the one person to keep track of. But help might be what I need in this situation because it is somewhat like a small town village, so there's a big area.
Above game, here's an idea.
Hmm?
What if Sapphire took Ania's summoned familiar? Because Ania can technically deliver touch spells
Oh,
through the familiar as well.
True.
And she can see through its
And then
eyes, too.
just
Yeah.
yeah, and then just have Sapphire pass it off as it's her personal pet or something.
Above game, I will also mention Dakota's the other really sneaky person. It's almost the end of game, so we could hold off on truly deciding in case Dakota joins us next game.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
You guys also still haven't actually seen the area yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like, the first thing that I'm thinking of is that Sapphire's the only one that has invisibility.
Does Dakota have invisibility?
Dakota
Dakota
has...
has invisibility. I have the cloak.
Mhm.
Oh, so it was Dakota
That's
that was
fair.
casting invisibility.
Yeah,
That makes
he
sense.
casted it on me.
I thought it was the
and
other way.
himself.
Yeah, Dakota, I think, has used invisibility once, which is entertaining because I don't actually see it on their character sheet. I assume
I
it's...
remember,
It was at the tower.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
it
did
was
at
at
the tower.
the watchtower.
right, because I had remembered I remember one of them cast it on both of them at the same
Yeah.
time.
Yes.
Third level
Yeah.
invisibility, you can cast on 2 people, and every level above that, you can cast on 1 additional person. Very effective trick of the trade. But yeah, Dakota has very good invisibility and general sneakiness, but they are very, very good at getting caught if their spells wear off. Sapphire is exceptionally sneaky, assuming she has no spells cast on her at the time, with the exception of haste and obviously invisibility, as haste just increases her speed and invisibility is invisibility.
And Jess has to clarify: invisibility lasts for an hour.
Mm-hmm. Unless you shoot, unless
Yeah,
you attack.
enhance. Yeah, and if we have enhance ability, that also lasts for a while. I think an hour.
Technically
making-
speaking,
Yeah, 1 hour.
Technically speaking, she can have as many spells cast on her as we need, so long as
Super buff Sapphire.
There's no reason we
1,
can't.
2,
We just
3,
need to make
4.
sure that the casters are only what's the word I'm looking for here? Concentrating on one spell at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Enhance ability doesn't need concentration.
Oh heck yeah!
Haste does need concentration, and when haste runs out, Sapphire will be what's the word?
Stunned for
Exhausted.
1 round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you will be temporarily stunned at the end of hastes, which goes for a minute. So you can get pretty damn far with it. But you'll want to make sure that once it runs out, you are not
Save.
in the middle of everyone.
Yeah.
So.
But we're still like 2 hours out from it, so we want to get closer first, right?
Mm-hmm. To actually see the area and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I'm assuming you guys are going to be moving on now? With a rough plan in mind?
Probably. Does that mean that she's not going to take the cloud rune? Oh, I could also actually offer her the storm rune. It would mean that she couldn't be blindsided.
Ooh.
There
Would you
you
like
go.
those runes, Sapphire?
Yeah, I would.
Which one?
That's
I
the
don't think.
question.
So
Technically speaking, you could probably have both. They both offer a passive. It's just that I wouldn't be able to use the abilities affiliated with them until I get them back later.
Hmm.
Considering since she's not a rune knight, she can't evoke them. She can just get the passives.
I forget what your feature is. Oh no, okay.
Gotta buff the
Remind me.
shit out of this ranger.
No worries, we can't. So
Yeah,
is that
so-
a one, or do you want to take both, or
I feel like both would be better in this situation.
Cool.
So I don't want to be
Har-
blindsided in this kind of situation.
let me copy the passive effects of these runes, and I will send them in the no mic here.
Nice. All right. So you hand off the runes, and with a rough plan in mind, you guys start heading towards the area, kind of debating on how you guys want to do this, different, mission parameters you guys have. Eventually, you guys do crest a hill, and as you guys look over the hill, you guys can see that is relatively well hidden. This area is in the middle of ruins, I should say. And so is a lot of decrepit stone, a lot of different landmarks that are just kind of more or less buried under fauna and flora. And as you guys look over the area, there is a relatively small encampment that you can vaguely kind of see in the middle of these ruins. You can more or less distinctly tell because of the shape of the tents that they are showing through the runes. To the best of your guys' knowledge, it won't be exceptionally hard to get down there. The hills are very, very much so slanted, so it's easy to get down and hard to get back up. Probably also a way that they make it so people can't get in very easily, and are relatively good at trapping people. So more or less,
Hey.
when you go down there, it will be kind of hard to get back up.
May I perception check?
Absolutely. And I will move the map.
Hooray!
Jesus. So that's kind of what you guys are seeing, just with a general encampment kind of in this area. But looking from above, you guys are kind of looking at a large, general broken down ruins. As you are looking with your perception, your magic eyes, you do see 2 or 3 different tents that are set up. Kind of hard to tell what they are, how big they are, especially from this distance. You're a couple 100 feet, if not more, from it. You guys can vaguely hear people talking. Is a lot of echoes from the land. It kind of carries it up the sides of the walls. You guys are kind of hearing every now and again. One thing that you are very specifically noticing, though, Nia, especially as you look closer, I think you guys have binoculars, if I recall correctly.
We?
I feel like you guys did at one point.
I don't recall that. I'd be happy to say we have one.
Because they're not super hard to make, especially if you guys have connections with gnomes, because they do that a lot. They are really, really happy to make binoculars, because it's more or less just a general feat of engineering that they enjoy making. So I'd probably say anyone who is like closely affiliated with the gnomes in Harmonious would probably have a
pair?
binocular. Yeah, a pair.
Mhm.
Would that be me then?
I think so.
Ania's talked to them
fair,
a few
he was.
times.
Mhm. Yeah, you've been
What'd you say,
around
Gelmar?
them a
Cyril
little
did.
bit. Gelmar, I'm
did
not
do a lot
sure
of
if you've been around the gnomes exactly.
Gelmar most certainly has not.
Okay.
But Cyril did regularly commission Glimmer, I believe, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think
So he
Cyril would
probably
have
be familiar with
binoculars.
her.
Yeah. They're very crude
Definitely.
binoculars. They're not like super enhancing or anything like that, but they are very, very useful for what they are.
Enhance.
Enhance my sights.
Zoom and enhance. Zoom and enhance.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you guys do have that. If Cyril, you would want to give Ania it, since inarguably she is the most perceptive of your party.
Yeah.
All
And
right.
he is
Yeah.
like has these like Cyril-sized binoculars.
There is
Yes.
some metal in it, so it's not the nicest thing for you to touch. Yeah, it's not comfy to feel, but it's an amalgamation between metal and glass is not quite defined usually as super nature oriented, at least not the shaped glass. You can make glass with like lava and sand and stuff, but it's kind of on the gray area, so they're not
Yeah.
fun for you to touch. But you're using them, you look down, and the thing that you can absolutely guarantee as you're looking around the area and looking through the thing, they are all elves. They're either half elves, high elves, or wood elves. There is no thing that is not connected to elves in this area. It is an exclusively elven encampment.
Ania's gonna like move from behind the binoculars and squint. It's like they're all of elvish descent, from what I can see. That's strange. Well, I guess no, we are near the elven settlement.
It would make sense. That is the primary. They were pretty private about their affairs here, so I guess it makes sense that this close to the town we almost exclusively find elves.
But why
And-
would they be doing that? Making drugs?
Why do humanoids make, or why do humans in general make drugs?
But isn't it strange that if this is not affiliated with specifically the elven kingdom, why are all of them elves and not some humans or anything else? That's odd. Usually with the legal matters, they're much less lenient about race.
That is a good question now that you mention it.
Whatever
Something's
the answer
weird.
is,
Hmm?
whatever the answer is, I'm not sure it'll matter.
I think it matters. I'm not sure. I just have a feeling.
Through the
But that's all I
binoculars, you
can.
do see not quite people walking back and forth with stuff, but you do see like small vials that people have that is very clearly white powder. It's even at this distance, it's very, very easy to tell with the binoculars. And they're definitely moving between a lot of different like tents and stuff like that, with varying degrees of completion, I suppose would be the term.
That drug you dislike is definitely being passed around. It looks like they're using little vials. From what I can tell, anyway.
Yes.
Is it mined? Or what do they need to manufacture it?
I'm not entirely certain. Think. Right.
Maybe there's a berry or some other sort of fruit that grows best here. Who can say?
We should go ask them.
Mm,
Hey, bud, how do you make your drugs?
You should tell me before I sick you on Cyril.
6-0 on you, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Tell me your drugs or I'll make you die.
Why are you doing that, dude? That's not good.
I wish there was a way to just ask their dead bodies.
No, I can do that.
No, don't do that. That's necromancy.
That's morbid.
Oh, we're we supposed to save people, you.
And
We
Neil,
are
like,
saving a lot of people.
and he
This
sighs.
right here is one of however many manufacturing sites, I suppose you could say, for a drug that had at one time held an iron grip on the outskirts.
Ania will like sigh to herself and mumble something that sounds, ask questions. Look for new answers. Like she's like telling that to herself.
Try not to kill everyone.
Well, just keep an open mind. Maybe the necromancy is useful in like certain circumstances.
Well, there are other ways to stop people, so we can ask them questions first.
Look, they don't need all of their kneecaps, okay?
Oh, well, I wasn't saying that, but
I will take it under advisement.
Under advice. Is one of the Joes with us too, or are they all like back at their encampment?
Yeah. Joseph Joe Joseph is standing next to you. Kind of like looking out of the area with like his hand to his head, like looking over the thing like a scouted adventurer. Hand on his hip.
Do you know why they're all elfish?
Not in the slightest.
Keep
But,
your voice down.
Oh, yeah, sorry, it echoes a little bit. Not in the slightest. I assume that they are trying to keep it in-house, shall we say, but, most of the folks that we've, beaten and bruised have been, half-elves, so we kind of expected a human, elf, and possibly dwarven connections, but, up here, elven descent, that's a little bit strange and, a little bit out of our pay grade, unfortunately. Mostly because all of them have, high elves are known for their magical tendencies, so burning to death is one of the least painful ways to die.
Adia has like a look.
Hey.
Yes, I don't know if I would entirely agree with it being one of the least painful ways to die.
Ania nods in agreement with Cyril.
Oh, the way that some elves wield their magic, fireball is just a sad, sad state of affairs. At least you die quickly. At least you die quickly.
grimace
again. Oh.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I mean, they could firebolt you
Okay,
to
you
death,
don't
too.
know.
That's a little bit more painful.
Why do I suddenly get this feeling that unless we do this stealthily, we're just going to wind up immediately just taking a nuclear or missile to the face, turn one?
Oh no!
Just send the dragon in on them. Buff up Gilmar.
Well, you all do
a
remember the
hasted
story
dragon.
that Roderick told you.
Hmm?
The story about the town that the elves slagged.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yup.
So, yeah, he's like, high elves have a passion for magic that is unrivaled by nearly any other species. So, when it comes to magical connections, that's the one you go for. And when it comes to battling them, well, spells are dangerous for simple folk like us.
Thankfully, there's tricks around them.
And that's why we
This
hired
is-
adventurers.
This is why I'm also very interested in your gunpowder.
No, absolutely. Just don't let them set it off. It will hurt a lot.
Well, I'm thinking that if we want to set it off ourselves, how much hard liquor?
Well, we did come recently from the Iron Spire Peaks. We have a lot of liquor with us.
Ooh, did you bring Blackland Fire?
Oh, certainly. We brought quite a bit of it. It's a good selling one whenever you're around a dwarven settlement, even down here.
Oh, I'll bet. I've seen a fair few that I would down that before breakfast. He said, as cat. He says, laughing.
Ania's watching with the binoculars to make sure our chatter isn't like tipping anything off.
Is
So
there
far, it
anybody
doesn't seem
around
like
us? We're good. Okay.
Hmm?
Oh, there's no one around us, right?
No.
Around? Okay.
You guys just at the top of the hill, so your voices carry, but it doesn't seem like anyone's really hearing it. Seems like it's busy enough down there that most of your sound is not getting to them.
Now I'm just imagining someone's like at a grindstone or something down there, just the process of producing these drugs is just so noisy nobody can tell anything else is going on.
Like, what was that noise? Oh, just the grind.
Oh
No,
no,
it's just
better.
the dragon.
Oh no, better. It's just like they could hear the general chatter, but they just assume it's somebody else talking in the area because it's too loud to actually register who it is that's talking anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, he's like, we have a lot of hard liquor if you need it. That will of course come from the amounts that we're willing to pay, obviously. Always happy to help a friend in need. And a friend of Joe's,
Well-
a friend of yours.
Your cheap hard liquor, as long as it burns, will come in very.
Indeed. Don't worry, we have a lot of cheap liquor. There is one thing that we always bring with us. Yeah, he kind of points back to his caravan, and it kind of opens a little bit to have a whole goddamn casket or whatever it's called, a oak barrel full of what you assume is
wine
cheap
cask?
liquor. Yeah. It's like, we bring a lot of it with us, mostly for us to drink, but we do sell quite a bit of it.
Mm,
It's over 30 pounds.
I think while Sapphire goes and scouts the area for us, why don't you and I go back to the caravan and we'll make some presents for our new friends at the bottom of the hill.
A fascinating ordeal. We shall survive or we shall flee. Honestly, fleeing is better than dying, but yeah. Hopefully, my good friends, you do not all die. But considering your... He kind of looks at Sapphire and looks at Nia, and looks at Rue. Of some elven descent in your party, I assume you'll fit in just fine. Maybe. I don't know, you could blend in. Could be sneaky.
No, I'm not so good with the lion.
She's not.
You know, I hadn't assumed that, my dear. I assumed you were a very truthful individual, but
No, thank
I
you.
figured you had some lying in your bones. But you know what? Being truthful, better than being a liar. Don't follow our lead.
Oh, thank you.
All right. And that is where I'm going to end it so that we are able to get Colty's input next episode as well.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was gonna
Ooh.
say that's. Ooh.
Also, so I can prep this battle. I prepped 4 different things. This was not one.
Lord knows. Yeah, Lord knows we're going to have to do something. What did you expect us to do this episode anyway?
Honestly, I thought a lot of the episode was you guys going to be debating on where you guys go next, of like either
That's funny.
to the meadows or to the
Free.
yeah, the tree, or even like Gelmar throwing his hat in and being like Iron Spire Peaks, baby, you know, or
I was
other
gonna
stuff
say,
like that.
I would love to go there, but I'm fairly certain I'm going to be outvoted almost immediately because I have no specific location to go there right now.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And at the end of the day, going there and finding and saving the sister only supports him. It doesn't really do anything else for the rest of the world.
Mhm.
Did Gilmar tell the party?
He most certainly did not, though he definitely
Got
should
it.
have.
Got
Hell
it.
yeah. But I was kind of expecting
But-
a lot of the episode today to be like a debate between you guys, being like, all right, where the hell do we
I
go? And
basically
like
just assumed
tense
that he
moments
was
and stuff.
already under the assumption that he would already be outvoted, and again, if he takes the rest of the party up to where the Obsidian Wyverns are right now, the rest of the party are going to be very quickly introduced to all the other dragons, and it's uncertain how how anyone on either side is going to react to that.
It's very
Nina's gonna
true.
be stoked.
All right. Well, if you
That's
guys
fair.
actually, let me move out to my end screen here. There we go. If you guys are interested in watching some of the stuff that we've done already, feel free to go check out Tables of Tartarus, our TTRPG VODs channel, where we have all the episodes of Tyrant's Wrath already on there. Tomorrow, we're also going to be doing King's Kindness, the secondary campaign that is alongside this campaign with a whole different bunch of group of people, including Wazzy and Bunny and a few others, and they're doing all kinds of fancy stuff, which I would say is more gray than you guys are, but dear God, you guys are really making me rethink who is in the gray area.
I was gonna say, it's just like,
Being really good. We're stopping drug dealers.
we're trying to be good, but yeah, let's be real. We've done some serious messed up stuff.
There's some very gray areas here, but I enjoy. You guys are trying to be good people, and that's the important part. So,
Yeah,
you
just
guys-
do it to your other team.
if you guys want to see some other good people being forced into bad circumstances, feel free to join us tomorrow as we play at 6 p.m. PST. As always, you guys are welcome to join our Discord down below or check out Story, because she is a wonderful human being, and we love having Story here.
I'll be
But you guys can
streaming
check
Limbus
out.
tomorrow. I'll be streaming Limbus Company
Oh,
tomorrow.
hell yeah. Another 9-hour stream.
Yeah. However long the event takes.
Maybe 10, we'll see. But go check her out if you guys are interested in Limbus Company or other things that she does. She's a wonderful storyteller, and she is also having art stuff. So go check out her VGen as well over on her channel. She does commissions, and she's a wonderful person to commission. But we should see all of you fine folks next time. We're going to go ahead and do a raid over to my friend Rizalina. She's an absolute sweetheart. Just had her had a tooth removed, so she's playing some Mass Effect, I believe 3, in order to cope with some of the pain. So we are just going to pop over, say hi, give her a little bit of encouragement, happiness, and Mass Effect just so happens to be one of my favorite games of all time. So yeah, feel free to pop by and say hi, and I'll see all of you fine folks next time. Bye.
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 Bye.